hello everybody, and welcome to the Persona 5, I nearly said Persona 4, so I'm doing great already, Persona 5 Spoilercast with me, your host for the evening, Ebby. Joining me, as always, is Bill, and also joining me, as always, is Kinross. Hooray!
Yes. Hey!
How's that?
These are great occasions. You know why these are great occasions? Because it signifies that three human beings together on this planet worked through a long game that would eventually dissipate in their backlog as something they never finish. It's a great occasion. These games are 100 hours long. These are easy games to go, oh, I haven't played that in a month. And yet
I
we've
haven't
all
played it in a
completed
month,
it.
so it's been a while.
Yeah.
True, yeah. You beat it long before Kinos or I have beaten it.
Yeah.
But it feels good. It feels good to put a game this big behind us, and it feels good to be able to sit down and talk about it at length without having to worry about spoilers. Hopefully,
Speaking of which,
obviously, yes. Listening to this, please, God, go if you haven't played the game, or if you just don't give a shit. There are those Oxford studies or whatever that are like, if you knowing the spoilers make things better for you because you could focus on the minute details. No.
Hey,
So-
maybe a
No!
little.
Don't
So
do
get
that
out of
now!
here if you haven't played
No.
Persona 5, because we're going to be talking about the game.
We're going to be
so-
spoiling pretty much everything about it, so if you haven't, not 100%, but if you haven't completed the main story, please go away, play the game,
Get out.
come back later, and then we'll
Come
talk.
back in 100 hours.
Come back in 100 hours.
And if you also listen to our Final Fantasy spoiler cast, hopefully this spoiler cast will feature 100% less wiki reading.
Yeah.
I have got
I
the
think there's a
wiki
lot-
up just in case.
I think there's a lot less that we'd have to wiki than
The game makes a lot more sense.
But
Hey, Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
so-
15 makes perfect sense once you read the wiki. It's fine. It's not a problem. I don't know why you think it's a problem.
Really, they should have just made Final Fantasy 15 rather than the game. They should have just sent you the wiki as like a printout book.
hey,
It's in the guide, probably.
all the lore
Yeah,
being
probably
on
is.
all the lore being on a separate website worked for Destiny. So I mean, you know,
Sure, it did.
it's anyway. Where did you guys want to start for Persona 5?
Well, let's
Spoilercast?
start with just our general thoughts on the story, because the story is what we're here to talk about, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. For me, I think I'm hearing myself somewhere.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're on Abby's
Yeah.
side.
Oh, is
think
it my
It's 'cause
side?
she's yeah.
I'll turn you down, I'm sorry.
I noticed it especially when I
Yeah.
went, yeah. I was like, oh God, no! I sounded like that. That's not good.
That's in the
That's not
podcast
good.
forever now.
That's not good.
Can you hear yourself now?
No, it's good now. It's good.
Okay,
now.
okay.
But yeah, overall for me, I think I've touched on it briefly when we were talking about the game on the main show. Is I like the double life trope. I like that whole heroes in the shadows type of thing, like Batman or Code Geass or what have you. So a lot of stuff really worked for me for this game's main story. I really I like
can I
the
say
whole
before we go
idea-
on that
Yeah.
my internet is like super bad, so if I repeat anything that anyone says, I'm sorry. I just can't.
Oh,
hear
that's
anything
fine.
that
Yeah,
anyone's
there's
saying,
a
so.
lot in the game, and there's a lot that I think we'll all individually say that it's inevitable that like we have similar things to say about certain aspects of the game, so that's fine. But yeah, I think the story has like two very like clear like parts to it. I think like the rise of the Phantom Thieves and then the fall of the Phantom Thieves kind of deal going on there. And the whole story is based around adults being able to get away with things because they are adults, or not necessarily just adults, but in a place of power. And I think the fall of the Phantom Thieves falls right into that theme as well. You have the major villains doing what they're doing to manipulate the public's opinion of the Phantom Thieves, and then having that crash down on them. But yeah, I liked it. I did. I liked it quite a bit.
Okay, good. That's a good start.
I mean, once we get into the nitty gritties, it'll be easier in terms of like what do we think about the story, like what aspects of it. It's hard for me to sit to dig too deep yet.
But soon.
But overall, broad strokes. If you're still listening to this and you haven't played the game, we have spoiled on you that the Phantom Thieves public perception plummets. But broad strokes, I like the story a lot. I don't think it was like the most like groundbreaking story ever. Like, whoa, man, you won't believe the story in Persona. Like, I think it's very like, okay, yeah, people taking down bad guys in an interesting cognitive science type way, and then these villains kind of use that against them, and then it gets a little fantastical towards the end, where this cognitive world is really large scale, but overall, I think what its story was suited the type of game that this is very well. I think it did a good job of making me want to keep playing it, considering it's 100 hours long, considering it's a game that every bit of it's typically story. There's not too much. It's not like I'm playing Nier Automata where I'm doing a bunch of side quests where I'm fetching parts for people. There's none of that in Persona. It's day by day, you're doing story. Even if some of that stuff is side activities to raise your stats, you're still going story for the most part. You're always doing something that's advancing either a stat that's going to help you with confidant, or you're doing a confidant that's going to advance story with them, and then that gets you closer to advancing the story on the main calendar, and like you're always doing something. So the fact that I beat a 100-hour game, I think, says enough about me liking the story. Kinross,
I think
I was gonna call on you.
Sorry. I enjoyed the story. I think that I seem to have had the issue that neither you nor Evie had, where I feel like they played some... they dropped hints at reveals far too soon before the reveals that it frustrated me a great deal with one, and then the other I just had gotten so fed up that I just didn't care anymore at the end.
All right, talk about this. I want to know what they are.
Okay, so the big one, like the first one for me, is Akechi, being the guy in the metaverse who is causing the mental breakdowns or whatever they're called. Because I caught that right away that he heard Morgana, and I was like, "What the hell is that about?" And that was just like 15 hours into the game, and I didn't find that out until like 60 hours in, and I was like, I've known this the entire time, and it's pissed me off that no one else noticed at the time. And then it turns out that they did notice, but the game didn't want us to know that until everything all came together.
I mean, I guess it depends how you interpret him hearing Morgana. I mean, obviously, then he's been in the metaverse. I guess it could be a case of like, is he the one causing it, or has he just been in the metaverse before? I mean, I guess they kind of set him up as the antagonist to the Phantom Thieves with his TV appearances and whatnot. But I honestly didn't even catch that he heard Morgana. It wasn't even like going through my head as I was going through that scene. It was just kind of like, oh, blah 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 blah, and I wasn't really like paying attention to how he heard about pancakes. When yes, the game even calls back to it to show you like, hey, look here, if you caught this, obviously Morgana is the only one who mentions pancakes first. After what palace is that? Is that after the after the Kaneshiro Palace, or is that before it?
I thought it was after the second palace.
So after Madarame?
It was either during Madarame or after, I think.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure off by heart. And then the other thing was, this technically didn't even get answered at all, but Morgana's Dreams, where he's being born as a shadow.
Yeah.
I guess technically he was created in the metaverse sort of Velvet Room thing, but he was never born as a shadow, and so it felt a bit like a misleading thing that, again, was brought up way before it needed to be.
I kind kind of like the little sprinkles of that in there, mostly because you don't know when they're going to reveal.
I would have liked it. Like, I would have liked it more if each time, because it happened like 3 or 4 times, that each time you got like a little bit more, but it was literally the same thing every time, and Morgana waking up and going, "Oh, it can't be true, can it? I must be human."
Yeah, I think it.
And then we move on.
I think it. I don't necessarily know if that was meant to like foreshadow something that was definitely going to happen as much as it was Morgana's his whole entire arc in the game is trying to figure out where he was born and what he was, and this whole time he is so worried about whether or not he was a human or whether or not he was I can't help but feel like he just is hoping to God that he wasn't made for evil purposes, and I would look at that more as he's not like seeing something that is necessarily going to happen, like, oh man, we keep seeing him born as a shadow, that must mean that he's recalling his memories and his dreams. I think that's just him having a nightmare, like it's getting to him, and like if they starts happening, and once it does start happening, his mood kind of shifts, and that might be, I forget if that's around or when he has his little emo phase, like every shonen protagonist has.
It's just before his emo phase.
Yeah, so I think that's just him kind of having a recurring nightmare that is troubling him as to maybe where his origins come from. And as he collects more things, and as his journey with the Phantom Thieves goes on more and more, he might, I feel like, starts doubting where his origins are from as they start learning more about the cognitive world and maybe why or how he could do certain things and stuff like that. So with that, I mean, it is... I think maybe they could have maybe shown a little more each and every time, maybe. But I think just having that reoccurring nightmare of like, whoa, where am I from? It really frightens me to think that, with the way everything works in the cognitive world and the way that, certain shadows and certain things are born in there, like, it really frightens me that because I don't remember, I could potentially have been created this way. And that is giving me nightmares.
I guess it's my fault for interpreting it as a memory rather than a nightmare.
I mean, I guess you honestly...
But it was presented in a very memory trope way of flashback. I
mean, it's also happening while he's sleeping, too. So, I mean...
That's true.
I mean, it could be taken either way. I mean, interpreting it as a memory, I don't think is a false interpretation. And I think, like you said, it's presented that way. And if you look at it that way, the whole arc of Morgana is getting his memories back. Like, seeing that, you start thinking, like, oh, man, is he, did he start out as a bad guy? And, like, whatever happened to his memories, he's not that kind of person. Whatever created him had him pinned as such. But, and then you think, when you're going through, and we're getting deeper into the game here, but when you're going through the depths at the end of the game, the last dungeon, and like there's that big locked room, and you think like, oh man, maybe that's where the Shadow Morgana is locked in. That's what I was expecting to be in there, but really it's just to the Velvet Room. But I was and it is technically where he was born. Yeah. So, but when they're building that up, like, oh man, I was born in there, and then you start to pin back to those dreams he was having. It's like, oh man, am I gonna fight Shadow Morgana? Because up till then, whoever the last boss is, you don't know at that point. But I figured maybe it would be Morgana. Maybe Morgana would have had a bigger role in terms of the metaverse and who he is. But he was created as a beacon of light. But yeah. Abby, what do you think of those two reveals?
I don't know what you said because my internet's playing out. Sorry, what reveals are you talking about?
The Akechi reveal and Morgana's.
Okay, so the Akechi reveal, for me, was one that I thought was going to happen, but just persuaded myself that it wasn't going to happen. Because he always gave me these, like, vibes, I guess, we'll call them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pick up on the pancakes thing. I was very similar to Bill. Probably because I was playing that part at like 2 a.m. or whatever, just didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
And then with the reveal of when he shoots you in the head, that kind of sucked. That one sucked really bad. Because I assumed since he was in the party, like, that was that. Like, he was going to be in the party for the rest of the game. And then he, like, I swear Sai asked you a question and she's like, have you been working with Akechi? And I'm like, no, God, no. Like, no, it's fine. Like, oh, don't worry about it. Thinking, nah, he's not the one who's betrayed me. It's fine. Like, it's not him. And then he comes and shoots me in the face, and I didn't
or
feel
does
great about that. I genuinely thought at that point I'd gotten a bad ending. Because, you know, I looked pretty dead in that anime cutscene.
Yeah. I mean, he shoots you in the head. And there's blood.
Yeah. So,
I figured that they were faking it in some way, but I was like,
how do you fake that, though? And then it does
enough.
the, like, scene afterwards where they're all finding out
I can tell you how
you've,
they
like,
fake
killed
it.
yourself. Well, no, I know now, but at the time they, like, showed everyone reacting to how you'd killed yourself. And, like, all of them were like,
sense.
oh my god. And then Ryuji's the only one that's like, yes.
We got him. Yeah.
And of course he's the last one. So yeah, I don't know why everyone was so, like, did they worry that the plan hadn't worked and that Akechi had actually killed us? And Ryuji was just like, nah, it definitely worked.
I think it, you know, maybe potentially since it's on the news and maybe like initially like seeing the fact that your friend killed himself on the news, maybe whether you believe it or not, or whether you think it worked or not. Maybe, you know, if the police, if it's on the news, maybe you assume like that wide scale, maybe they assume like, oh shit, you know, maybe he did and they have his body, like that kind of thing. But it could just, I mean, if I looked on the news and I knew that like, oh, I was planning something out with my friends and my friend was going to pretend to kill himself and I saw it on the news, I think if I looked at the headline, I'd probably be like, oh, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
I hope it worked. Oh God, no. Like,
Oh god, no. What if it didn't work?
I've just realised that this was an awful idea.
you could potentially die if this doesn't work. Like if YouTube's whole plan with the app doesn't work and all that, like, oh fuck, no. Yeah, but yeah, Ryuji's like, got him. I was pretty pumped. I was pretty pumped at that point.
I really like Akechi as a character. Like, I think obviously bit of an
That's 'cause
asshole.
you like Prompto.
He is voiced by Prompto's voice actor, which obviously a little bit of bias there. But like, I just really like his character because he's very interesting. I wouldn't want to be friends with him particularly, but I just think it's very interesting how he can manipulate people in the way that he does. Mm-hmm. And what sucks is that I really, really wanted him to be a good guy because he had Robin Hood as a persona, and Robin Hood is a local treasure of mine, I suppose, because I'm from the Robin Hood area, we'll say. Literally, I've seen the Major Oak. That's the tree that he used to live in, apparently. So he's real. He's not a fictional character, I'm sure. But yeah, like,
I assume you're talking about Robin Hood and not Akechi.
Yes, I'm talking
Akechi
about
lived
Robin
in this tree down the road.
But like, everything about, even after that fact, I was like, maybe he's just being used by someone. Maybe this isn't like something he wants to do. But his boss fight in the last palace was very, very intense.
I did think that following that boss fight, he would come back and join us, and I think that if he hadn't encountered himself, he might have done.
I don't think
honestly,
I think the problem is that they'd, at that point, painted Akechi as this, like, really bad person who had murdered a bunch of people. There's no way that fits into the Phantom Thieves' sense of justice in any way, so there's no way that he would have joined back up with them, I don't think.
I guess.
There is that exchange between them. I mean, I guess it could just be interpreted as them trying to talk him down, kind of thing, where they're telling him it's not too late. Like, hey, look, man, like, this isn't who you are. You're not a bad guy. And then there's that whole exchange between them where, you know, Ketchy's like, oh, if only I had met you guys like a year sooner or something like that. Like, you know, these things wouldn't have happened to me. I wouldn't have been manipulated by my father. I mean, he got played like a fiddle by Shido for the most part.
Can we, whilst we say that, did that reveal feel somewhat ham-fisted to suddenly come and then be like, he's my dad, I'm dead now, Shido learns he's his son, I guess that makes sense as to why he was following me around, and then it's just not a thing again.
No, it doesn't need to be a thing after the change of heart, really.
I suppose. I just don't understand.
I think
why
they just needed motivation for Akechi to be the way that he is, like past his sense of justice, because his sense of justice was like super warped and like backwards, because of how shit his upbringing had been, and how he, like, as far as I understand it, is he initially wanted to sort of be really good at something and like as how would I say this? Like a fuck you to his dad that, like, wasn't there. Because I can understand that, like, you know, someone isn't in your life and you want to be like, I'm going to be the best person so that they regret not being in my life. So I think that was what he was initially trying to do. And then his like, perception of what needed to happen got warped over time, I guess, is how I interpreted it.
Okay.
He really, and this isn't an insult, but he really like, how do I put it? He really reminded me, like, his arc and his like the way his character ended up really reminded me of like a Death Note character.
Yeah.
Just kind of the
justice.
way, even the way, like, you know, when he confronts his shadow during like the finale of his arc there. Like just how warped and like crazy his shadow's face looked, and how just everything that happened with Akechi there was like, man, give me major Death Note vibes. With him, and
he also looked like Light with longer hair.
And I love the whole cat and mouse thing, and I actually kind of wish that and this isn't like, oh man, this sucked, but like it would have been cooler to me if like Akechi's detective work would have played more of a role in like attempting to catch the Phantom Thieves, because I love the cat and mouse thing of like Light versus L and other works too. I'm off the top of my head, but I like the cat. Kogias too. Suzaku versus Zero. Like I like the cat and mouse game. Like I like that, like 2 steps ahead, 1 step back, do this, and this, and like, you know, I think, you know, having Akechi maybe have more of a presence through the whole game, aside from showing up every now and then on TV, would have been cooler. But I loved everything about the Akechi stuff. It bummed me out because I was so pumped he was finally. I assumed the whole time he was going to join you.
Yeah, we all gave him awesome stuff.
Yeah, I assumed the whole time he was going to, because he's on the box, and when you boot up the game, he's on the little splash screen that comes up in the group with the Phantom Thieves, and I'm like, oh, cool, you know, like. I obviously know he's going to join at some point, so when they show him, like, oh, I hate the Phantom Thieves, they're not good, I'm like, okay, well, obviously at some point in this game, this kid, you know, changes his mind on that, and I was waiting for it the whole game, like, when's it going to happen? I'm looking forward to it, because, you know, I'm interested to see who his persona will be and all of that, and I'm interested to see just what turns him over to that side, and then when it finally happens, I'm like, man, cool, you know, this is great, and... He's got bless and curse stuff.
Yeah, I can get rid of my personas that only have one of those moves.
He kicked ass, dude. his moves were so good. His physical attacks were good. His all-out his animations were cool. It was cool to have him around. Yeah, and then during the interrogation with Sai, you start getting your memories back. I thought it was really clever that stuff they gave you, that truth serum, was like kind of there to. It was administered to you so that you don't remember.
Yeah, that makes no sense as a truth serum, though.
I mean,
to make you forget the stuff that you need to tell them.
I mean, I guess it's not a straight-up truth serum, but whatever they gave you blocked out certain truths, I guess, in a way.
I actually thought my game was bugged the first time. It's funny because it's a butterfly. Was bugged the first time that stuff went all wibbly wobbly and you couldn't hear what was going on. I was like, what the hell's... What? And then they're like, oh yeah, that's just memories that you don't remember properly because I forgot that you're recanting everything to Sai up until that point. Which in hindsight is a cool mechanic. At the time, it was really weird and it pissed me off.
You might be the only.
We were in the middle of a conversation.
You might be the only guy on Earth, Kinross, who thought that's a bug.
Well, what else was I supposed to think it was the first time?
Doesn't the screen like fade white and stuff too during those scenes?
Yeah, the game the screen fizzles and the audio cuts out, and I was like, well, what the hell's happened?
I mean, I guess it could be interpreted as a bug and make you mad.
And then it kept happening. And I was like, well, I guess this
Yeah,
is a thing.
this is a recurring thing.
Stupid bug.
Yeah, the Psy stuff was cool. There was that scene right before the Akechi reveal where she asked you those questions. And Kinross, there were messages that you received from me that I deleted. Because
were there?
Because I didn't
never saw
want
those then.
because I also didn't want a response that maybe I didn't want to read because like maybe like it would affirm that I picked the wrong choices, or also too that maybe any kind of any kind of response might have spoiled further events. It was during the questioning where Sai asks you who you're working with and like tries to strike a deal up with you, and and like during that line of questioning, I'm like, man, this is big. This feels important to me by saying out loud, yes, these are the members of the Phantom Thieves. That has huge implications. If I go ahead and do that,
I noped my entire way through them.
Yeah, I said nope to them, but then I'm like, man, like this is my life on the line here. This is my like if I don't maybe tell the truth, this is a prosecutor. I could potentially be maybe bad ends. I'm put in jail and I don't get out. You know, like maybe Sai's off the record right here. But then I'm like, you know what? No, fuck this. You know, I stood my ground and I said no. I said I didn't. I don't recognize any of those names. I don't recognize Akechi's name. I wasn't working with any of them. What are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, wait a second. Fuck. No. Shit. What did I just do? Is that wrong? Fuck. No. And then I'm like sitting there thinking about it. It's got to be right, though. It's got to be right. Like, I'm not ratting out my friends. In every movie ever made, being the rat always gets you killed. In every mob movie ever, being the rat, even if you're under witness protection, it gets you whacked eventually. So I'm like, nah. I did the right thing, and I was stressing about it. I messaged him, I'm like, Kinross, what did you do? Like, did I feel like this is bad. Should I reload it? And then I'm like, no, delete. Kinross is not awake. He didn't see those. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna just see what happens. But then you get shot in the head, and you're like, oh no. And then,
maybe I should have redded them out.
And then very quickly, you're clued in on the cognitive heist plan that is carried out. Yeah, so that is your first. That is your first go at avoiding a bad end. Is that scene there?
No, there's another one. The first bad ending you can get.
There's one before that.
Yeah. You don't get any of the treasures from the palaces. Those are bad endings.
Oh, yeah. Those are obvious though to me.
Game over, so.
Yeah, if you fail those.
No, those are technically bad endings because the police come and arrest you. So.
Yeah. I guess.
Why did they arrest you? What reason do they have to arrest you?
Because you've been a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you fail, like for example,
if you first the first palace, then what reason?
You're being expelled. I assume that fucks up your probation and stuff like that. Like you can't get in trouble.
Should I have
probation.
a look?
So what's the bad end if you rat people out?
I know for Kanashiro. Oh, you just get shot in the head and die. I'm pretty sure.
Is that so? If you rat people out, there is no cognitive plan. He actually shoots you in the head.
You also die in every other ending. Like if you miss a treasure, you die in all of those endings as well.
I could tell you one ending where you don't die.
The normal ending.
Also, the other bad ending.
Isn't that the normal
one I got?
Kinross, I'm very curious.
Oh, normal versus good, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know if I would consider siding with the bad Igor as a normal ending.
What's the normal? No, there's a. Sorry, Mabi. There's 3 bad endings, a good ending, and true ending.
Okay. So, my logic. We're talking way at the end of the game now, when it's revealed that Igor has been playing you like a fool the entire time.
Which that reveal is awesome.
Got me.
Awesome reveal.
Because literally everyone, every time we've heard like Igor in the background, like we were in a call once and Andy was playing Persona in the background when Kinross was living there. And me and Bill were like, man, that Igor voice like totally does not suit him. It's really weird how miscast that is. It's like really strange. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I thought it worked fine. But yeah, so eventually you're offered, what is it, that you can either die, or you can be returned to a world where the Phantom Thieves are ever popular and whatnot.
But all your friends
so
dead.
I didn't know all my friends would be dead. I didn't know that was the deal. What I thought I would do would be, okay, we've run into an issue because we died at that point because no one believed that the Phantom Thieves were real. So, if I make this deal, everyone will believe in the Phantom Thieves, we'll be able to then go back into Mementos, because they all believe in us, and then kick this thing's ass. So I was like, sure, I'll make the deal with you. And then it goes to a cutscene where it's like, the Phantom Thieves have done this thing all over again. And everyone's like, yeah, Phantom Thieves! And Kinross Ningle's like, yeah, I'm a badass. And then he turns around, pushes up his glasses, and has the most evil look. And then the credits roll. I'm like, that didn't go to plan at all. And you can't skip those credits. So I was just sat there for like 10 minutes going, goddamn plan.
So you pick that, and there is nothing else. Like, that's over. You pick that choice, and the game ends right there. You don't have to fight the four angels. You don't have to fight the blah blah blah, whatever the hell the last boss's name is. All that stuff is
gone.
That's so funny to me, dude. I mean, I guess if you're sick of playing the game, that's the ending to pick, huh? If you don't want to do the last strike.
So done with this game? Like, forget the ending. I don't.
All right, you know what?
Sure. I'll end it right now. Thanks.
Fuck it.
Thanks,
you got it. You got it, evil man. I'm done. Fuck this. I've had enough. Phantom Thieves work ain't me. I'm out of here.
I honestly thought that was what it was wanting me to do.
I guess you could play the whole game and be like, I don't like any of these fucking friends. I'm only hanging out with you guys because I'm stuck here on probation. And then the first chance you get to fuck them over, it's like, you know what? Fuck it.
I honestly didn't realize that my friends wouldn't come back. I thought
I'm going home.
I thought that the only reason that I saw just myself there was because I happened to be the MC, and it's like, we'll see what this guy's up to. But no.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like when I got to those choices, I was like, oh, you know, this seems fairly obvious what the good doer choice is here, and that is like, this guy is evil, very clearly evil, but at the same time, where you're coming from with, you know, the Phantom Thieves' popularity and all of that, the only reason I didn't go that route is because, like, entering this whole thing, you know, everyone kind of had that revelation that's like, you know what, this isn't about us or us being popular anymore. This is about erasing the metaverse. We'll no longer be Phantom Thieves. That's our ultimate goal. And in terms of meeting my ultimate goal, I didn't want to be like, yeah, you know what, never mind, I'm gonna be popular again, fuck this. I was like, you know what, no, eat my shit, evil man.
You just didn't think far enough ahead. You didn't think, if I'm popular again, I could kill this guy.
This guy was lying to me the whole time. This guy split up Lavin. What the hell was her name again? Lavenzel?
Whatever.
The Caroline and Justine, the two twins, was actually one person that he had split in two. Whatever the hell is going on there. But and that was bad. Did she turn back into, I forget the exact sequence of events, but did she turn back into Lavenzel before or after you agreed to the deal?
Before.
Or disagreed to the deal, rather. It was before? Okay.
Because she's like, why are you doing this? I'm like,
that's
what are you
right.
talking about? It's the great plan.
That's right, yeah. Oh, yeah, when you decide, when he's telling them to kill you and execute you, they kind of resist and kind of, they turn back into Lavenzel. Man, there was a point on a forum I read, and I agree completely. I guess it doesn't really resonate as much if you hadn't had any experience with a past Persona game. And to be clear, it isn't the same voice actor still. The original Igor voice actor died in real life before Persona 5, before they did the dub. So a lot of people just assumed, what the fuck bug was that? Whoa! I might die. There's a chance I'm going to die while we're recording
a different voice isn't a bug.
I was talking about a real life bug in my room. Bug just flew past.
Have you got a vacuum with an extendable nozzle?
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see that. But a lot of people, almost worked in their favor. No disrespect intended. That he died because it's like, oh man, we recasted him. We wanted to honor him by, not just getting someone to mimic him. Like, oh, that's cool. That's understandable. Interesting choice. Going so opposite. But then when that reveal is given to you and the real Igor shows up and you hear that voice again, that old voice, it is a really cool moment that, no, this isn't just someone taking the appearance of Igor and his voice will be the same. This is like, it adds a sinisterness, I think, to that voice work the whole game in retrospect. Even though it's always kind of sounded sinister and it is always kind of suspect. This Igor sounds so fucking evil. It is kind of creepy when you think about it. And it is so different because it is not the physical manifestation of that voice. It is just a total imposter. It's fucking creepy when you look back on it. I think it was a really cool. I feel really bad for anybody who was spoiled on the fact that Igor is the villain, or Yaga Baba, whatever the hell his name is the villain in Igor's. What was it? Yagaba? Yep.
I don't know.
Yabadoo. Yabadaba.
Norse, I think.
Because like
the Holy Grail.
Going through the whole game, knowing that at some point this is not even the real Igor, it kind of ruins the whole Velvet Room experience too. If you know that, before you play it, like man, cool reveal. But I assume you reloaded Kinross and went back and did the good or true ending. I assume. Yeah, because obviously.
So what's the difference between the good and the true ending, Abby? Sorry.
I got rid of the link. Hold on. No,
Okay.
I didn't. The good ending means you avoided the other endings listed above. Now you must get to December 24th and speak with Igor in the final dungeon and choose not to fight him. Doing this will prompt the good ending. Okay, no, I don't know.
Huh.
I'll look it up. You hold on.
To the wiki. 98% less wiki reading.
That's fine. No, it's good. It's good to check. Good to check.
But yes, I eventually went back and fought. I really enjoyed that last fight. I thought it was really cool. It was mechanically interesting. It was an interesting setting.
It was a bit long. I don't know if it's because I was on
the
normal.
build-up was a bit long for me.
The fight took forever on normal difficulty. Anyway, it took a long time.
It took me about half an hour.
It might also
that's kind of acceptable.
Be because I fucked up and I accidentally switched out 2 characters when they were down with Futiba's like max confidant ability. I'm like, oh, sure, yeah, I'll bring in 2 characters with full HP.
Oh, but they're not going to have
and they didn't have the fucking adhesives on. So eventually they ran out of SP, and it became a thing of the main persona I was using on the main character kept me alive with regen, and I had really good heals on him, and he was able to resist dying. So like I could never go to 0 health as the main character, so I couldn't technically fail this fight. So it was a really long ass turtle of just heals here. Makoto has the full heal ability for the full party, so it was a game of as long as I keep main character and Makoto alive. My main character also has a revive, so basically it was a fucking back and forth hour and a half almost long fight of keeping my guy alive, keeping Makoto alive, keeping everybody fully healed, and just whittling it down slowly until I finally beat him. And it just took me so long.
That's pretty much how mine was, but
in the world.
It was basically the same logic, for me, but it only took like half an hour because people seemed to survive just a bit better. I was maybe a bit overly cautious because I hadn't learned that bloody Lorenza or whatever her name is was at the start and free to heal you. So I'd just gone through the entire last section. Trying to do everything in one run, and I had a hell of a time with the bloody... I don't even remember what his name is, the Apocalypse Guide or something.
Yaldabaoth, I looked it up.
Yaldabaoth.
No, Yaldabaoth.
Sounds like a type of tea.
By the way, the bad endings, there is no good ending. There are multiple bad endings and then a true ending.
Okay.
So the bad endings are miss a deadline, Okamura escapes, so you don't beat that boss in the half-hour time limit. Miss the Shido deadline, which is specific because Akechi comes to your house and arrests you himself. Sell out your friend is another bad ending, and make a deal with the false god is the other bad ending.
Wait, which one has a time limit?
The Okamura boss fight.
Oh, and the space station. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I forgot what I was talking about, but it's alright.
What were you talking about? I forgot because I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at the bad ends.
I was talking about the last.
Oh, we were talking about the last boss. Yeah. I want to put it out there that you know the mega boss that they had in Final Fantasy 15 that everyone said took like 3 days to finish. I finished that quicker than I finished. Yeah, I finished the Adamantoise quicker than I finished the last boss in this game.
Oh really?
I'm glad it took you long too.
It's just.
Honestly, I kind of would have enjoyed it for it to take me longer. I really enjoyed that fight.
I didn't, because it just kept going on. It just kept going.
Particularly after. So for context, because I don't know whether I've mentioned it in the proper show, in the lead up to the final boss, there are 4 mini bosses, I guess we'll call them, of increasing strength, and the last one kicked my ass for the better part of like 2 hours, and I was determined to get to the final boss before I went to bed. So I was playing from like 7 o'clock through till midnight or whatever, because I had a deadline to finish it the next day. Sorry. And he keeps spawning angels that can full heal him. So that was the most whittled down fight ever, because it was just constantly do like half damage to the guy and then try and make sure that the angels die before they can get a res off, and that wasn't fun because I was so low on HP and not HP SP on my main character, because I didn't know I could go get him revived, and SP item recovery things are bloody impossible to find.
You buy him from the doctor.
She doesn't sell them.
She does. I think you have to get a social link high enough, but yeah, she does.
Well,
they're expensive. They're like 75,000 yen.
I got the adhesives. But
oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh okay, yeah, I got those, but they weren't recovering fast enough because I was trying to do so much.
Did you get the level 3 ones?
Yes.
I literally never had a problem because I was always doing physical attacks. Like.
I like weaving in the physical attacks to even just on fights that like I would use physical a lot just because like I don't want to waste my SP on this fucking guy, because like I can beat him with physical. Even if it took me an extra turn, you know, wouldn't be too big a deal.
It always screwed me up though when there was that one enemy that was like immune to physical attacks and like mirrored them back at you or whatever. You're like, no, what do I do now?
I always had so many out-of-combat HP recovery items that I just never minded if I took a little bit of damage by prolonging the fight an extra turn or two just to use some physical. Like I had, between the shopping channel and between just everything else, I had so many items like out of combat that I would use to just, instead of using like the insta-heal to waste SP healing with like healing abilities outside of combat, I would use the... So like I tried to manage my SP pretty decent. Actually, on those fights leading up to the last boss, I didn't have too much of an issue. But it might also be because I fused a persona that had Mudun, whatever the hell it's called, the instant curse ability. And the hardest
I don't think I ever got a successful instant kill off the entire game.
If they're weak to curse, it works no matter what. So with the angels, them being weak to curse, the insta kill, even if it's a medium chance, it will always insta kill the angels on anybody weak to curse rather. It'll always work.
It.
So that's a good thing to keep in mind for New Game Plus, if you ever do it. And that goes for any one-hit kill ability. If it's a bless one-hit kill and they're weak to bless, it'll work. So any kind of, and also another tip for the angels, if they are at full health,
that explains why in Futaba's Palace, I died so goddamn much because my main persona was weak to Bless, and Anubis just kept using the instant kill Bless with the low percentage. I'm like, God damn!
Yeah, that would probably explain it. That was an annoying enemy to fight in Futaba's Palace. Also, for the Angels, for any New Game Plus attempt, or if you're anybody listening to this who hasn't played the game yet, what the hell are you doing still? But here's a tip for you. Besides using Madoon, the Angels, for some reason, I don't know if it's what the fuck bug is that? Oh my god, it's big and it's flying. That's what's alarming.
Is it a moth?
I don't know. It doesn't seem to have the fluttery appearance of a moth. Anyway, for some reason, I don't know if it's a bug in the game. We're talking about the game now. But if the Angels' lives themselves aren't threatened, they won't heal. If the Angel stays at max life, it'll keep buffing that mini boss instead of healing him, which I thought was interesting.
I think that you might have had a bug because they definitely did do
Because
then I
looked it up, and like someone says, yes, keep the Angels at their full life, and as long as the Angels aren't threatened, they won't heal. I don't know. It might have been a bug. But it worked for me every time. And that's
because I definitely did try one run where I thought, screw it, I won't kill the Angels. I'll just I won't do anything to the Angels. I'll just focus on the guy, and I got him down to like 20% health, and then they rezzed him, and I was like, screw this, because it'd taken me 20 minutes.
Maybe you have the special EU patch that I don't got. There's a good chance.
The one that screws over my gamer type specifically. It's like all the Destiny Division stuff. It's like, make sure this guy doesn't get anything.
But yeah, those mini bosses leading up, I didn't have too much of an issue with. What annoyed me about the last boss is I thought mechanically it was cool. I thought the whole idea of the 7 deadly sins popping out on his arms was neat and all. But I thought those mechanics would have been cooler if the fight didn't take me as long. It got to the point where this fight is so long for me, and it's taking so long with the fact that I'm killing his arms. It's taking me time to take these individual arms down, and then he fucking grows them back. It's like, Persona, could you not do that? Like, this fight is so long. Oh, he grows it back. Oh, this one's at 50% HP. Oh, he grows this one back, and it's back at 100. Oh, and they're like, no.
That was one moment where I was like, okay, if they're all up,
end.
I've got stuff to deal with. Anything that they do, I'll just focus on the main guy, and then occasionally knock out an arm or two. Much
initially,
like the Kaneshiro Palace, where it's just like, yeah, I'll just attack Kaneshiro rather than the pig.
Initially I didn't know you could even move to attack the arms, because when I read your one tip going in, Kinross, like once Futaba says like, take out the arm, just guard. I'm like, okay, I assume whenever Futaba says to take out the arm, that's when it's time to attack an arm. And then I'm like, okay, I'll just keep attacking the boss. And then I finally realized, oh wait a second, I could take out each individual arm. This makes it. I probably should have been doing that from the start.
Yeah, I should have given a bit more context. Because when Futaba told me about that, I had 3 arms up, so I thought, if I take out the arm on the opposite side, the ball will disappear and it'll be all good. Yeah. And that doesn't work. It fires regardless, so you have to destroy all the arms to stop that attack.
What the fuck is that? Is that a bee?
Do you want to go and deal with the bug?
No, it's gonna stay. I think contextually, I think that fight was really cool though. Like, I think if you were to ask me, Albert One, hey Bill, you think you're gonna fight a god in this game? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna change the cognitive world. I didn't think I'd be fighting a god. A
fake god
in Tokyo. Like, that metaverse was now the world. Was all. Now it's funny. It's interesting. And, I've learned some lessons, some personal lessons playing this game, and some personal lessons that I'm going to take with me approaching other games. And I've already put them forth with Nier Automata. You two have had to deal with the dancing around things with me, even like stupid shit. It's not even a spoiler, because for this game I was so wacky about this is a spoiler. What's a spoiler? I can draw conclusions from this or that. Is any little piece of information I would see, I would I start to try to draw my own conclusions. Even like, Billy, you have no evidence. Stop. Let's play the fucking game. You don't know what you're talking about. Somebody retweeted a picture of all of the characters dinging level 69 at the end of the last boss, and I saw this image, and you can kind of make out the environment in that image because it, when on the results screen, the background's still there. And I saw this image, and I was like 40 hours into the game at this point. I'm like, fuck, I could see the last arena. Like, what? There's like skyscrapers and stuff. Like, I don't want. You probably fight in Tokyo. Like, this isn't cool. I don't want to know this. Like, why would you retweet this? I don't want to see that. But then it's like, man, okay, I don't actually know. Everything looked all distorted, and it's like, whatever. I mean, technically I was right, but it's, but I actually don't know what boss that was because on that person's Twitter, or on that person's tweet, because my results screen didn't have skyscrapers, and my Shido fight also didn't have that. So I have no fucking clue what last boss they fought in that image. But the conclusions I drew were somewhat correct, and that I'll be fighting in Tokyo, and you were fighting above the city. But I don't know what the hell screen they got. I don't know what the game they played. It wasn't Persona 5. This every little piece of information I've had going through Persona 5, and like, oh, I bet you this is this and that is that. Every single conclusion I drew, for the most part, was completely wrong. So I've learned to be more lax on things that I've known. Like, I know a little bit about one of the near endings. It's like, whatever. Fuck it. I was going to play it. It didn't lesser my enjoyment of anything in Persona. So we've talked about the last boss fight. We've talked about some of the big plot reveals.
Can we talk about the palaces a little bit then?
Yeah, I was going to say, we go back and,
Just go
where we started from, and just kind of go down each palace. We don't have to spend. If there's a palace that we don't really have much to say on, that's okay. Because not every one of them is maybe worthy of a discussion. But I think going through the game and hitting on each palace, whether we skip some or not, is a good thing. We've talked a little bit, and then even talking about the last two dungeons, because we didn't really talk about those necessarily. We mostly talked about the reveals in the fight. But so we started with humble beginnings at Kamoshida's palace.
This is probably my favorite palace in the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It's not my favorite boss fight for sure.
God, this boss fight fucking sucked for me because I was like, I didn't bring any items with me. I have no healing items whatsoever. And
I didn't realise that we were supposed to attack the cup.
No. I realised that, but I didn't get any health items. I sent the calling card off, made a save over my main save, so I didn't have another save to go back to. And this boss fight took me a really long time because I didn't prepare properly. Because I was an idiot. Sorry.
I don't actually remember too much about the palace itself, which I guess is a good thing because most of the other stuff that I remember from palaces is like, that sucked. So if I can't remember anything, I guess it just means that it was okay.
The one thing about this palace that I don't like is just like in comparison to other ones is it made me feel like every palace was going to have like shit tons of safe rooms. Because this one must have had like 20 safe rooms or something dumb. Like, it had so many. And then I went into like all other palaces and it's like it's got 3 for the entire thing and you have to backtrack to get to them and you're like, oh, okay, great, thanks. But overall, I think it was just my most
I think aesthetically,
enjoyed
like
one.
It might be the old saying of, I mean, this is not even necessarily talking about dungeons, but like, when people say the first Persona you play will likely be your favorite, I think that your first palace is like your first impression to the game's cognitive world and your first jump into what you'll be doing for the next 100 hours. And I think it's a really good introduction. I think Kamoshida was a good villain. He's one of the more memorable, I think, villains in the game in terms of like just even his voice performance. I thought was really well done, and just the fact that this guy is just the fucking talk of the town in this school, and he's able to put himself in such a seat, and just the way that he's torturing these students' lives. I thought he was one of the more. I mean, every single person's pretty vile, but I think he was just so disgusting. I know you disagree on Madarame, but I think psychological. Ow, fuck! I think psychological. I always play with shit when I'm doing these fucking shows, man. I just broke a pencil.
For fuck's sake.
I think psychological.
All right, so if Bill ever
damage-
visits this country and we do a recording, we're going to make sure that there is literally nothing in front of him. He's in a straitjacket.
If that's what you were referencing, Kinross, just now,
Yeah.
with Madarame. But I think Kamoshida, just everything that he's doing, even the fact he's driving a girl to suicide, I think everything that you're witnessing in this first build-up to Kamoshida's palace is like a swift introduction to like the themes this game will cover. And the game's not really scared to go over certain aspects of life. And I think that's one of the things that I love so much about it is that, you know, a lot of people will look at the game and go, oh, it's a niche anime game. I don't want to play this. It's all about waifus and fan service and this or that. I don't like anime. I won't play it. But it's like, whether you like anime or not, I think the things this game covers are very relevant. I think it's kind of funny. This game wasn't developed during Trump's selection, judging by the stuff that happens towards the end of the game. But you know, things that happen and are very relevant politically, socially, and you know, and just interpersonally. I think the things that this game deals with, and they introduce you to that immediately with the things going on with Kamoshida's palace and seeing the way he views the students and the way he views the school. And I think the castle aesthetic is really neat, and it was a really good introduction to your life as a Phantom Thief. So I think it is my favorite palace as well.
On a relatively personal note, I enjoyed Kamoshida as a character mostly because of teachers like him that I've always wanted to go into teaching myself. Sort of a double side that I've had teachers that have been really awesome people that I'm like, I want to be like that, and then I've seen teachers be absolute dicks to their students, and I'm like, I don't want to let that happen to a class of kids.
Yeah.
So from that respect, it was like, I do need to deal with this man who drove a girl to suicide and doesn't give a damn, because I know people like that, or I used to know people like that, and yeah.
For sure.
Thought.
Yeah. He was a great first pick to introduce you to this world of changing hearts. You know, like evil. Like,
honestly, I think he was, like, on the scale of people doing bad things, I think he's probably up there as one of the worst people in the game that you deal with.
Yeah, I mean, sexually harassing female students, underage female students, driving them to suicide, beating them, physically abusing, making them feel like, I mean, yeah, it's pretty awful. I mean, Kanashiro's pretty bad too, but...
What does Kanashiro do? I forget.
I mean,
like, he threatens, he blackmails them.
Yeah, I mean, getting a bunch of underage kids involved in mafia-type work, endangering their lives.
Oh yeah, they were drug trafficking, weren't they?
Drugs, alcohol,
okay.
all that stuff. It's, but it's not as, you know, I think one of the things that helps Kamoshida be more memorable than, say, like a Kanashiro is that you're exposed to Kamoshida in the real world a lot more than you are like a Kanashiro. Like, you're seeing Kamoshida day to day in school. Like, you're meeting Anne, and you're seeing what's happening with Shio, and even with Nishima. Is that his name? Or is it Mishima? I always forget his fucking name. Mishima. You know, and how it's affecting their lives, and all of these teachers who become characters in the game, and the principal, and Kawakami, and all these people are all involved with Kamoshida, and I think you confront Kamoshida more often face to face in the real world than any other villain. In that regard, Madarame maybe to a degree a little bit less, but
it also helps that he's one of the, like, as an antagonist, like, he is 100% the person you do not want in that job. You do not want that sort of person to be in a teaching situation where they're in control of a lot of people. Whereas people like Kanashiro, he's a dick who is in control of an illegal organization, so it sort of makes sense. You're like, yeah, okay, he would be a bad guy. So I think that it's relative to what you expect of someone in that position. Kamoshida is a lot worse. Similarly, Shido, you'd expect... Well, actually, he's a politician, so never mind. But you sort of expect that someone who's aiming for that position of power wouldn't be so self-absorbed and willing to destroy the country that they're saying that they're gonna save. Whereas everyone else is sort of just running along what you would sort of expect a CEO to do, or a drug lord to do, or a prosecutor.
For sure. I would say there's a lot of reasons that this was the first one you go into, and it's for a lot of those reasons. I mean, a lot of stuff that happens in the center of games, like for Kaneshiro, I would say he's less memorable, probably because they probably didn't care as much to make him like, oh man, Kaneshiro, what a badass, what a bad guy. Because he's the third palace. You're mostly there to get Makoto, and you're there to see his palace. More so than getting to know Kaneshiro. Whereas this is your first exposure to it, they made sure to really kind of build up Kamoshida a lot more as a villain in the real world.
With Kaneshiro, one of the things about him is he's just like by default this like terrible person that you don't really need to know much about, because he's basically part of the mafia. So he's just automatically a really terrible person.
A bad guy.
Whereas with Kamoshida, he's for the most part a teacher that just acts like a bit of a prick at first, and then you're like, oh, you mean he's been doing all of this stuff, which makes him like a lot worse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think it's just two completely different characters. Yeah.
Cool. So should we move on? Is there anything else lingering in your minds about Kamoshida's palace, or are we cool to move on to Madarame's palace?
Let's move on.
Cool. Madarame's palace I liked a lot. Mostly good. I mean, I liked the introduction to Yusuke. I was looking forward to meeting Yusuke because I in the trailers and like reviews I've seen, I like Matt Mercer's voice for him. Even though it just sounds like Matt Mercer a little fancier.
I was kind of like not that keen on his voice at first, and then I'm like, nah, actually this is alright. I like it.
Yeah, it grows on you the more you like get to know him. Because I mean, when I first met him, when I first heard it too, it's like, oh, it's Matt Mercer, but with a fancy accent on. Like, just I'm gonna hear him as Matt Mercer the whole time for the most part. In Titanfall 2, the main character is Matt Mercer, and it's like,
wait,
okay,
what?
Yeah, the main character is Matt Mercer in Titanfall 2. It sounds exactly like Matt Mercer.
Did not know that.
For a lot of Matt Mercer's
I think it's
roles,
easier
a lot
to
of
name a
means
game
kinda
that
toxic
Matt Mercer hasn't been in, to be fair, because Matt Mercer's been in like everything.
I'm playing Nier Automata, and there's Matt Mercer's voice again. It's like, oh, there's Matt Mercer. I think Matt Mercer's actually been 2 or 3 characters in Nier Automata, like side characters. I've heard his voice
I can look it
several
up.
Times.
Additional voices.
I didn't even know he was in Nier Automata.
There you go. He's supply trader and additional voices.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's in Puyo Puyo Tetris. My God. Okay.
What? Who is it? Is he the one who's like
Tetris? I don't think so.
Hex.
Oh my God.
I need to buy that game so bad.
He's in Mario Kart. No, he's not. That's a joke.
He's
not a good joke.
He's gonna be in Mario Cross Rabbids. He's all going, Gah!
He'll play the leader with Mario. But yeah. I think one of the things I liked the most, and you were introduced to this with Madarame, was during the interrogation scene, Sai would, kind of show you a picture. Like, okay, this was your next target. Explain what happened here. And I always liked seeing the picture and going like, ooh, I wonder what this guy's going to be like.
Yeah.
So I always liked that little bit. I always look forward to seeing who the next one was. But Madarame, as a person, I don't think he's as memorable as... I think Kamoshida is going to remain the most memorable villain for me, so I'm going to stop saying that every time we start a new palace discussion. It's like, oh, he's one of the more least memorable. All of them are kind of on level playing field for me from here on out after Kamoshida.
I actually don't remember anything about Madarame other than the end thing, and I hated his boss.
His boss is kind of annoying. For sure. That was the first boss I really complained about. I mean, it was the second boss. I mean, but... Yeah, that fight annoyed the shit out of me. But yeah, the whole thing with Madarame plagiarizing students' work because he couldn't do it himself, and he used that to kind of propel himself into fame, and the whole way that was intertwined with Yusuke's life and his mother. I like that story a lot. I thought it was a well done little arc there for Yusuke, and I think Yusuke himself kind of in a block for the rest of the game. I didn't finish his confidant rank, so I never got to see him fulfill his painting. But visually, I think Madarame's palace had some really cool things with like jumping into the paintings and stuff like that. I thought some of those sections were really neat, and it reminded me of like a Rayman game almost. But then, as much as I liked the palace overall, I didn't have any like total qualms with it. I thought the bits where you're running through like the exhibits, like the exhibit rooms with paintings on the walls, I thought it was kind of boring looking for the most part. I mean, until you got to, the parts where you're jumping through paintings and you're in this weird world with like, as you're building up towards the final boss fight and jumping in and out of paintings, and you're in this crazy floating, artsy looking world, and I like that stuff. But yeah.
And like,
Kinross,
I think
Oh,
aesthetically, this dungeon was my favorite. I think it was very pretty looking. One thing though is that they introduced this mechanic of being like, oh, there's a thing in the palace that means we have to go back to the real world and like deal with that, so that cognitively that door is open. And then they really didn't do much with that afterwards, I don't think.
Yeah, it happened like one other time with Futaba, I believe, where you had to go and get her to let her in your room, let you guys in her room in order to go through that one door. I mean, part of me is, that's the one time they showed restraint and didn't put a mechanic in every fucking palace. That would have probably been annoying if it was in every palace.
Yeah, that's what I was anticipating. I was like, no, I don't want this.
Every palace I'll have to leave and waste a day just to go talk to somebody, and then I can go back in, blah, blah, blah. But I loved the stuff that ensued with that, though. Like, I really liked a lot of the... I think that...
the Arn and Yusuke...
Yeah, I thought that scene was pretty funny when she showed up with like 80 layers on. And then this the whole scene of Morgana trying to open the door and get in there and all of that. I liked a lot of the interactions with meeting Yusuke and
Wait, didn't it happen another time as well, because the party split up? Or was that Madarame's palace when they're split up and...
What? I
think it might have been Madarame's that I'm thinking of, where you're like in an outside courtyard.
You're waiting. You're waiting for Anne and Morgana to do it while you guys are inside, because you guys have to get in and like turn off the security or whatever after that door opens or something. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I mean, the game's so long, there's a lot in there that you might not recall on immediate attempts. But overall, I don't have too much to say on the Madarame stuff. I know, Kinross, you mentioned that you don't think he's as bad a person as some of the other villains.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's a good guy. It's obviously a dick move to be a plagiarist, but like, he's not killed people. He's not... I guess he's sort of abused people.
I think the mental abuse is the main focus on Madarame. He's had a lot of pupils quit, and a lot of pupils give up art, and a lot of pupils driven to the edge because of him.
I think that because we've come off the back of Kamoshida, where it's so obvious that he's done all these things to all these people and continues to do so, that when your only instance of Madarame being a dick is Yusuke sort of being like, I'm not too happy with it, and you just hear that people have quit art, that it doesn't feel quite so impactful. It feels more like it's less of an issue, and you're literally there just to pick up Yusuke.
Yeah, I mean, the whole story with Sayuri is probably, I think, the cherry on top of painting of him as the piece of shit that he is. The whole relationship with Yusuke's mom and the whole instances around the Sayuri is I'd say the pretty big exclamation point on Madarame is a fuck.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, a lot. This is the instance where we were talking about with Kamoshida. Is like a lot of his stuff is so upfront, and you have a lot of FaceTime with Kamoshida, and you get a lot of firsthand experience with just how much of a fucker Kamoshida is compared to anybody else. You don't really get to see Kanashiro's operations firsthand for very long. You enter his stupid little love den there with all of his brainwashed lackeys, and then Madarame, you get to see some stuff with Yusuke, and you get to talk to Madarame a few times. but a lot of that is only secondhand information. Instead of like with Kamoshida, you are straight there in class. You are there the day Shiho jumps off the roof. You are, meeting these people firsthand. So yeah, Kamoshida's I think is always going to feel more disgusting than anybody else's, just because a lot of other stuff is secondhand info. Like you're getting this information from Kamoshida is the first one you find it on your own, really. I mean, and Madarame, I think, naturally, because all the other ones kind of come down to you kind of digging around and Mishima kind of helping you get information on targets. Yeah.
Boss fight sucks.
Yeah, dude. Man.
Once I figured out what the thing was with the boss,
sucked.
like, it wasn't as bad. But
Yeah, for sure.
Because the only information that I had to go off was when every now and again it would be like, the nose is twitching. I'm like, okay, do I have to stare at these paintings and see which ones are actually moving and focus on those? At no point did I think I have to destroy all of these at once until I read a walkthrough, because I game overed on it. And then he comes back. Does he come back twice? But the third time he gets splattered with paint.
Yeah, because I was getting aggravated because he regenerated once, and then technically he regenerates twice, I believe. But there's 3 phases.
Yeah,
the first phase, because I remember I was so pissed when you did it the first time, and then I messaged you the second time. I'm like, and you're like, don't worry, it's not as bad a second time. I'm like, okay, he's covered in paint and shit, so it's not that big of a deal. Man, the first time I finally got that first part down, and then he fucking came back. I'm like, you got it. This is what this is gonna be. Come on, fuck you.
It didn't fill me with hope for the rest of the bosses, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't have too many issues with too many of them. In fact, who was the? Yeah, I think they got a little easier as they went on. Then they got a little more annoying towards the end. But yeah, Madarame's was cool. Anything else we have left to say on Madarame? Because we have a lot left.
Nope.
Cool. Kanashiro.
I've got basically nothing to say about this dungeon.
Yeah,
this is probably my favourite one in terms of game mechanics to do, in finding the letters, numbers, and the odd bit of maths where you've got to work out what the code actually is.
I'd agree with that.
I remember literally nothing about this dungeon. I don't remember, because I know that's the last half of the dungeon. I don't remember the first part.
The boss was a fly. I don't know why, but he was.
Well, the boss was a fly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. Although this is also where we first start to hear that there's someone else in the metaverse.
Yeah, you start to get some more plot sprinkled throughout this one. Kanashiro as a character, I could forget about him completely and I wouldn't give a shit. His palace, though, like I like the whole bank aesthetic. I liked, like, oh man, we're pulling off a heist in a
actual
bank.
Heist.
And then that whole second part, like the whole thing is a giant lock. Like I thought that stuff was pretty cool. Even the boss fight wasn't too bad. I didn't have too bad of a time with that. I didn't realize you could attack Kanashiro on top. Until
once you realize that, the fight gets a lot easier.
Yeah, it's sometimes not apparent initially that you could. I mean, I guess it's up to your curiosity to move the cursor around, but that's why it's like I didn't think to move it.
That's why Kamoshida was a problem for me as the first fight, because I never thought I could move my target down to the cup that was regenerating him.
Yeah.
I just thought that I had to keep attacking the main bulk thing, and then I accidentally hit the down button, and there we go.
But yeah, overall, I mean, this introduced me to the character that I romanced, as Makoto. But other than Makoto's introduction, everything about Kanashiro's palace, I think it was cool that it was a big bank in the sky. I thought the discovery of the palace was neat, but overall, I mean, story-wise and villain-wise, Kanashiro's whatever. The next palace, though, I think
probably my favorite.
I say Kamoshida's is my favorite because of the circumstances and the contextualization around it, but I think plot-wise, and you know what?
Plot and aesthetic, I think that Futaba's is my favorite.
Futaba's palace is probably the best in the game. I think what makes it so memorable is it's, you know, you're hot off just kicking 3 bad guys' asses, and you're introduced to Futaba, who you're looking forward to. Everyone's looking forward to meeting Futaba in this game because, you know, everywhere you read on the internet leading up to Persona 5 is oh, the hacker girl, I'm gonna romance the hacker girl, she likes video games and the computer, and it's like, oh man, I'm looking forward to meeting Futaba. She'll probably be a really cool character. And then as I think yeah, she is really cool. She's a great character, and I'm so glad I maxed her confidant rank out, because out of all of the confidants in the game, and she's probably one of my favorites. She's not who I romanced because she's literally identical to my sister in every single way imaginable. Like, to the point I'm like, oh no, like I was gonna romance Futaba, but I just can't out of principle. Everything about this palace, it's a high point in the game for sure, because you're not stealing the heart of a bad person. You are stealing the heart of somebody who is sick, who you really want to help, and you gain a lot of knowledge about Futaba through her palace, and that is cool. You were learning about this character's backstory through hieroglyphics and puzzles and little bits of information here and there, and I loved that about it. The music was also a good plus. I thought the music in Futaba's palace is pretty good. But yeah. And
it ended with the best anime scene of them running down a pyramid with the hilarious runs.
I love the whole animation of them getting thrown into Morgana's van form. Really reminded me of like something Gainax or Trigger would animate. It was really fully cool. Like, it's something that, like this. It looked so cool. But yeah, this was a great one. I don't remember being frustrated aside from a few fights with Anubis. I generally enjoyed this. I even liked the boss fight using like the ballista to like shoot her mom down and stuff like that. I thought that was all pretty cool. It sounds funny when you say it like that, but yeah. What do you guys think?
I like Futaba a lot, so I might be a bit biased. I wasn't massively attached to a lot of the female characters in this game, I've got to be honest, but her, I feel like I just want to protect her. So helping her and stuff was cool.
I'm almost.
She is the one. Sorry.
Oh, you go ahead, Karen. I've talked a lot.
I was gonna say she's the one character that I wish I could have gotten to rank 10, but it took me so long to get my kindness, or something had to be like rank 4 for me to even start doing the social link stuff. And for me, that came so late in the game that I was just like, I'll do a couple, but I don't think I'll have time to get to rank 10.
It's cool if you get to rank 10. There's a Catherine reference.
Fair enough. That's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to eventually doing a new game plus, so that I can, because I've already got rank 5 kindness or whatever, that I can just go straight through with Futaba. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like an inkling.
Yeah, I mean, I was interested in how her I was interested in how this whole thing went down, because like I was saying earlier, how Sai shows you the picture of who you can take down, and when she showed you that picture of like just the Medjed logo or whatever.
I was reading it as Medjed, like I thought it was a medical thing. I didn't realize that. I didn't think that it was an Egyptian god.
I love the context in which Futaba's. I love the context in which Futaba helps you in fights. Like I'm kind of disappointed I don't get to fight as her, but I like the support in which she gives, and I like her name too. I like her code name a lot. I think Oracle's a really cool one, and
some of them are really stupid. Like they suggested. Sorry, I'm eating a flapjack. They suggested Kitsune as what's his name? Yusuke's. And I was like, that's a badass name, and they were like, yeah, we'll just call you Fox, and I'm like, fuck off. You suck. Then they asked me to come up with Makoto's name, and the last one I would have picked was Queen, because I thought it was stupid.
Yeah. The one thing that sucks about Futaba is those goddamn bug eye goggles. I don't like that. I don't like the design of her. So that's why I'm glad that we don't get fight as her, because I don't like her metaverse design.
I mean, it's funny. She's so small, and like seeing her in that green outfit and those bug eye goggles, she does look like a bug. But yeah, great palace, great sequence. The puzzles I thought were fun to solve. The paintings, and I liked that each one gave you a bit of insight into how she viewed her mom's and hers relationship, because obviously what she thought it wasn't the truth. You find out a lot of really good stuff about her and her mom from Sojiro, who low-key is the best character in the game. You don't expect that, at least for me anyway. He was my favorite character in the game was Sojiro, because I love a good progression of a character's affinity towards you, and I love the budding relationship between you and him, and then eventually you got to see really good moments between Futaba and he, and I loved it. I'm really bummed I didn't get to rank his or Max's fucking thing. It pissed me off so much. I'm so bummed about that. So, a lot of them I wasn't too angry that I didn't get to Max, but like his, I loved him, so like it really bothered me. But we'll talk about the confidant stuff after we get through the palaces. But yeah, just really good bits of story from Futaba. I thought her palace told a story more so than any of the other ones did. So.
And then it's immediately followed by the worst one in the game, in my opinion.
I don't remember which one this is.
Okumura.
The Big Bang Burger one.
Sci-fi one. Abby, I'll let you go first on this one.
I just really didn't enjoy this one because, I mentioned it in the main episode that we just did of Perma, where there is this mechanic where you have to go around and eavesdrop on these robot workers, and then you have to like go and talk to these other bigger robots and figure out which one's which, and you have to do it like 3 or 4 times. And if you get it wrong, you're stuck in like a really long fight, and it's pretty easy to get wrong because the game's trying to deceive you into getting it wrong.
I'm wondering if the choices, like the stuff it tells you, is different on difficulty, because I found it stupidly easy.
They'd just say things that were like really ambiguous, like the thing that you would hear when they were eavesdropping was, "Oh, he really likes sweets. He really, really likes sweet food." And then you go and talk to one of them, and one of them would be like, "Oh, I really like sugar," and I'd be like, "Oh, that's him then," and he'd be like, "No, sorry, wrong one." Like that's sort of the thing that I'm trying to talk about.
I ended up just guessing. Like I didn't even that information. I'm like, all right, fuck this. Like there's so many mechanics in these palaces that just are there to give you the fucking runaround. Yeah. Like, oh, you got all the way to this door. Go backtrack through like 8 rooms to kill the guy who has the key. It's like, how about no? How about if I earned my way to this door? Let me fucking through it, or put a fight in front of the door that lets me open it. Don't make me go back through 8 other rooms I've just fought through where the enemies just respawn so I can find your magical enemy so I can get the goddamn key. Like, don't give me the runaround to extend your dungeon's length. It annoys the shit out of me. So when I would see that pop up frequently, and then this is just another riff on that same freaking mechanic, where, oh man, you need to get 2 key cards. One of them opens this, and one of them opens that, and only certain guys have it, and you gotta eavesdrop on these little fuckers to get it. And it's like, alright. As soon as I got that objective, whether or not it would be hard or not, I was instantly like, okay, well, fuck it. I don't even want to do this. Like I don't want to do this. I don't even care if it's the easiest thing in the world. Let me just solve your damn palace by you not answering my text message. Like, don't give me the runaround. Like, let me play the goddamn game. Let me progress. I'm not progressing. I'm going back. Like, it annoys me. There were quite a few instances of backtracking that involved locked doorways in some of these palaces, and those mechanics annoyed me quite a bit. And this one, it was there front and center again. And like, you're so far into the game, it's like, could you stop? Like, you know, like,
it's just like not a fun mechanic either. Like, doing it once I would understand, because then you're like, oh, they've introduced this mechanic. I've proven that I've understood it. I've got the right guy. I've fought him. I've got the key card that I need. We can carry on. And then it'd be like, right, everyone's changing shifts now, so now you've got to do it again for no reason. And then you'd have to do it another time at least. I don't know if you had to do it 3 or 4 times. I genuinely don't remember.
I forget.
I think it was 3 total.
That's
the sort of thing where I think it's okay to do it twice, maybe.
I think 3 was far too many. But the thing that sucks even more is it's then followed by one of the worst sequences in the game, being the fucking airlocks. Which is then followed by a timed boss fight, which is super stressful and not very fun, in my opinion. Nothing about this palace was fun. I hated all of it. And then there was wasn't even a reward at the end of it, because fucking Okamura died, didn't he? So, oh my god, sorry. I'm genuinely angry just thinking about it.
To this day, I still don't know how I solved the airlock puzzles. The second set, I spent like 45 minutes, and I think I got myself locked in an inescapable spot, and I was like, screw this, I'm turning it off, I'm coming back in like an hour. And then I did it first time without even thinking. So I think that my problem with the airlocks was that I was actually trying to work out what the solution was.
Yeah,
when really you should just be blindly going wherever you could at that precise moment, flipping everything that you could at that precise moment once, and then just going where the paths let you.
Yeah, I just kind of bumbled through those, and I got both airlock sections in one go. I was kind of like, all right, fuck it. And I was just flipping the switches. I'm like, all right, fuck it. And I was running through the airlocks. I'm like, oh my god, I did it. Like I probably put a little thought into it, looking at the map and seeing, which pathways change color when you switch them. I'm like, okay, this is. But fuck it. I just ran through and just did it. I ended up like somehow just bashing my way through that, like in as fast as possible. I think having a warning that there would be a portal type puzzles coming up, Kinross, I think helped me mentally prepare for the nightmare that could have ensued. If the only thing that bugs me also about puzzle sections, and we will get into this, I will get into this when we talk about Shido's Palace, is luckily the enemies don't respawn for the airlock sections, which is nice.
Yes, that is very nice.
Certain puzzle areas, enemies will respawn. In Shido's Palace, they just don't give a fuck. And there are instances with the mouse sections where they'll respawn enemies, and it drives me nuts. But that is a conversation for a little bit in the future, because oh boy, that palace could eat my shit. That is the worst palace I've ever played in my life. Like, I've played so many palaces. One of the worst dungeons. One of the worst dungeons I've ever played. I can't stand Shido's Palace. But the thing that bummed me out, I think, about the mechanics in this one, is that when we got here, I was super stoked because it was like in space, and I loved the way it looked, and I liked the whole idea of it being this kind of like secret moon base type deal where, you know, you're making burgers on it. But then you start to play and it's like, all right, this is frustrating in ways that I was hoping they wouldn't be, and I didn't mind the plot that follows. The scene where Okumura dies is pretty disturbing, and I think one that I think is important to see, because I think it gives you visualization as to really, like, you're just a bunch of kids doing this, and if you fuck up, like, obviously this was caused by Akechi, but like it just like
if you happen to accidentally kill someone,
yeah, like witnessing this, like, you guys are just kids, like, you guys aren't professionals, like, you know, like, you may be good at this, like, in what you've done, but like seeing what could happen as a result if you as a vulnerable young adult fuck up in this metaverse. This is what it looks like, and it is scary looking. Like, it was a gross death, like just like ugh.
I will say that the boss was kind of like, it made sense contextually that it worked the way that it did, but it was just like, yeah, I'm going to fight these dudes that I've fought before, so I know exactly how to defeat them, and there's 3 waves of them, and then Akubara's like, I don't know what to do, I give up, bye!
He's only as powerful as the people driving his company.
So yeah, it made sense as a theme. It didn't make sense as an actual fight. So I was like,
leading up to this palace was one of the more frustrating moments of the game for me, and that is the whole Ryuji and Morgana scuffle. You had this moment with these two where,
like, they'd had little spats before, and it was kind of okay.
This was kind of the boiling point for them. Like, this is Ryuji not
Although,
appreciating Morgana enough. Morgana.
Before that moment, though, is the thing that tips it all off. Is you have that moment where a character is having a problem, and they're about to talk to someone about the problem, to get it off their chest, and solve the problem. And then just as the main character's like, yeah, what's up, Morgana? You seem to be having some trouble. And Morgana's like, yeah, nah, it's nothing. I don't want to talk about it. And you're like, are you sure? Because you seem really upset. And he's like, nah, forget about it. And then it moves on to, you don't care about me. You never listened. It's like, screw you, Morgana.
That sequence is frustrating. You get it in anime, you get it in Gurren Lagann, you get it in Eureka 7. You get your adolescent character just has a phase where nothing's going to snap him out of it until he has a revelatory moment that brings them out of it. Because now, ultimately, for every character involved in this game, it's a coming-of-age story for the most part. But man...
And I admit that I am guilty of such things in my own life as well, but it's so painful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, because you could see where they're going wrong, and like you as the player observing these characters' lives, it's like even the part where you get to the mementos and it's time to apologize. You run into Haru and Morgana down there, and Ryuji just can't fucking say it, huh? Just can't say sorry in a way that is respectful. Granted, both of them had their little moments there. Neither
Ryuji's
of them
the best character.
Now, just for an aside, like I know that it happened occasionally for comic relief, but what is actually Ryuji's problem with Morgana? Like, why does he not apologize? Is it just because he's a teenage guy and he's like, you were acting stupid, I'm not going to apologize for it?
Have you heard how Morgana talks to him through the entire game?
I mean, he is an idiot.
Yeah, but if you do something dumb and I'm like, oh, you're a fucking idiot, like, you're not going to be like, oh, sorry, my bad. Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it's my bad.
I think you could point fingers at both sides. I think that's where the boiling point comes from. And even when you're at the beach or even anywhere, even when you meet Futaba, like Ryuji kind of always has those. It isn't always as like apparent and front and center as Morgana calling Ryuji a blockhead. But you have moments like, oh man, see, we don't even need you, Morgana. We have Futaba, and it's like, oh man, hey, fuck you, buddy. Like, we don't even need you either. You fuck. Like,
I don't even use you in my party now that I've got enough people.
Fuck you, man. Little remarks like that happen throughout. Little digs, but
they were both digging at each other, to be fair. So
and then it just boiled over. It was both sides just always jawing at each other, and then eventually just boiled. I did like the. I think it was all worth it though. It was worth it for me with the introduction with Haru in the when you first meet them, and like it's so it's so obvious that these are things like Morgana told her to say, and like it's just is a really funny scene for me. Haru is a character I didn't get to spend a lot of time with, and it bothers me because
she came so late.
It came so late, and whatever fucking rank I needed to talk to her wasn't high enough. I was rank 4 in everything. But I was maxed kindness and maxed charm, and proficiency and knowledge are both 4. And it's like, what? You tell me I need to be maxed to even go past rank 1 with fucking Haru? Like, why? What's wrong with?
I'm gonna have a look at what her confident things were.
Like every time I go up to the
Haru
roof,
is purely there for New Game Plus.
Yeah,
the people who are dedicated
I don't
to
even
having
think I
that
unlocked
New Game Plus romance ending with Haru.
I don't think I even unlocked confidant rank. To be honest,
it bums me out. I mean, I'm not too mad I didn't get, and this is a problem I have with the game, and even Mass Effect this happens in. It's like, you spend 30, 40, 50 hours with one group of characters, and by that point you've probably already decided who you're going to romance in some capacity or who you're going to spend the most time with, and then you start getting new characters added to your party 50, 60 hours in the game, and it's like, I can't bring myself to care about them as much as I care about these characters. And I'm already so invested where it's like, I don't really care to explore Haru's story, but I'm bummed out I didn't get to see. But I think you're given sufficient backstory and sufficient characterization through Okuruma's palace with her and her relationship with her dad. I think you're given enough. I think they know that you're not going to get to spend as much time with her as you'd like. So they kind of give her enough characterization through that,
The thing is that, like, it also, if they have like these stupid whatever, like, you need 5 kindness or whatever. It just means that she is then locked off from my party because she can't baton pass. She can't, like, do anything useful for me. So why on earth would I have her in the party? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Because I had no personas that knew psychic, and her gun stuff is pretty good. It's pretty much why I used her.
One shot kills pretty good move for sure.
I'd always take baton pass in like anything that like shields people, like them snapping people out of.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I had
the
the Harrison stuff or whatever. But she has the remove non-normal debuff move. So I was like, even if she doesn't have the Harrison that'll do it automatically, I can get rid of brainwash or fear or whatever with an amateur shower or whatever.
I didn't need it because like one of the personas that I had for the longest time was this persona called Leon Sheed or something. And it had like loads of curse and psychic moves and stuff, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna keep this one. Right?
I surprisingly got like really into the fusing process. Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, you know what? One thing that bothered me so much is obviously I'd have to look it up, but I don't want to look things up while playing the game because I don't want to accidentally see stuff I don't want to see. In terms of raising the confidant rank of the Twin Wardens, I was never able to fucking fuse whatever persona they wanted to fuse, and I could never find out which combinations. Yeah, me neither. I needed some persona with an F name that had a fire skill, and it's like, okay, I would always check
where they tell you the specific ones they want to use.
Yeah. And it's like I gotta use a fusing guide for this, and I'm not googling shit, so like I'm never getting the ranks up, and that bummed me out because I really was curious. I mean, obviously, you know by the end of the game that they're one character, but I thought it would have been. I bet you get sprinkles of that personality that comes into one towards the end by getting their confidant rank up, and I'm sure you get some pretty cool fusion bonuses too by leveling them up. And
look what those are.
And it annoys the shit out of me that I couldn't fucking. But other than that part of it,
oh no,
fusing I actually got into. What do you get? Should we
unlocks fusion with more than 2 personas?
Oh, motherfucker! What rank is that?
I don't know. It's just a list of things that you get.
Gotcha.
Unlocks lockdown. I don't know what that is. And then this one, confuse persona with higher level than the player. I'm done.
What?
I'm out.
Okay, so that is my biggest problem. I know we were talking about palaces, but that is my biggest problem with getting confidants to rank 10. Is it's like you can now create Satan. He's level 83. It's like, okay, I'm only level 62. I am not going, and it's towards the end of the game. I am not going to gain 21 levels before the end of the game so that I can try and make Satan.
Do you keep your player level?
Nope.
New Game Plus? Oh.
Mm-mm.
What the fuck?
So it turns out that in order to do that stuff, you need to do the Carolyn and Justine stuff, I guess.
Yeah. So
I think if I was ever going to do New Game Plus, I would look
thing.
up in advance what they needed, and then I would go out of my way to grind for them.
I think even that might be it. Like one of the even like we were talking about Haru, like a New Game Plus perk where it's like, okay, I've played the game once, now it's time to just.
I honestly thought that the levels would have transferred. It would have buggered up like the early game stuff in terms of skills, but
yeah. I mean,
aside from personas, your level doesn't. Oh, it's also your HP and your SP, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure that they could have like made it so that you have an in-game level where your HP and SP is scaling to the difficulty or whatever, but it lets you make personas. But I guess that then defeats the point of the twins' confidant rank that I didn't even know was a thing.
Oh, sorry. I had this ability in the game, and I was like, I have no fucking clue where this came from, and it came from one of the confidant ranks. Because I'd be in Mementos. And I would, like, attack a character, or one of the, like, monsters that was running around.
Oh, and it would just instantly die.
And it'd instantly die, and I'd get a persona. And I was like, where did that come from? Apparently that's Ryuji's rank 10 thing. So, I don't know.
I wonder...
I didn't think I got to rank 10 with Ryuji.
Yeah, I have it too, but I was at rank 10.
Maybe it's
It might be a really high one. Yeah, I think it's a really
Yeah.
high one. I like that ability a lot. Though it saves a lot of time on lower floors, depending on how.
Do you know what else saves a lot of
through.
time? The best ability in the game, Futaba scanning a level in Mementos, so you can
Thank you,
just
Futaba.
skip to the next level
Do you know how many times she did that for me?
once.
One time.
Okay.
Oh my! She doesn't like.
She did like 20 times for me.
Yeah, she did a
great.
lot.
We're gonna have to break up, I'm afraid.
What?
The next palace, which would have been my favorite palace.
Is this
Um,
size?
Yeah, but what bothers me about this palace is I feel like the game, like they almost tried to like, yo, we're gonna do something different, but then they didn't. Size Palace takes place in a casino. I loved Shadow Size design. I thought she looked really cool.
Creeped
I
me
loved
the hell
I loved
out.
the music in this palace was awesome. Any song with vocals in this game, I'm all about. So I love listening to the song. So I didn't really care how much time I spent in here. I liked fighting with Akechi. He's cool to have around. And then the point where I'm like, oh man, they're gonna do something different with this, is where you need access to certain levels of floors, which again is the same fucking concept as other palaces. Where oh man, I need the members card, I need the super members card, I need the fuckface members card to get up to this floor of the palace. Okay, cool. But then in order to get these, you need to have a certain amount of chips or whatever in the casino.
Yeah, you
Oh,
gamble.
man. You get to go play dice and do these things. I'm like, oh, neat. That's really cool. So I man, this will be neat. Doing stuff in the dungeon that doesn't involve fighting. So then I go through the door, and what do I see on my map? A bunch of red dots. I'm like, come on, stop. Let me just play dice. I'm exhausted. Let me just.
I'm tired. Let me
Let me
gamble.
just gamble. But overall, I
think it's
this
an important
palace.
lesson that they set to the young people of the world, or the younger people of this world that played this game, that the house is rigged against you.
Yeah.
So cheat before you play.
100%. Go in and get a Futaba on your team and hack other systems, basically.
But yeah, legitimately, I think it's a good lesson that, no matter how it seems, the house is always betting against or working against you. My problem with this palace, it's going to sound really weird, is that when I was trying to use the map to work out where I was going and what I had to do, I couldn't understand a goddamn thing. It was the most confusing map out of all the palaces. And I don't know why. I think it was just all the weird sort of going up, going down, back alley stuff just didn't work for me. Boss fight was cool. And
Boss
so
fight
was
was
the... So was Akechi saying screw you to the to the system and being like, actually, this entire time I've been taking out multiple loans and have exactly
that was
enough
awesome.
star chips to
That was
to
like
get
the
to your
moment
gate.
where I loved Akechi in that moment. Like I was like, man, what a slick move, dude! Like, fuck yeah, playing the system, Mr. Justice over here.
Mr.
Fucking-
Justice
fucking
taking
shit
out
up.
multiple loans to gamble. Yeah, it was good.
Akechi. I'm so
Yeah,
sad.
It took
that-
me a little while to work out what the trick was with the spinning wheel.
Oh, the
And
glass.
I never ever bet high. I always went low.
Oh yeah. I always did the easiest one. I never went like the hard bet. Like no, fuck that. So then you gotta like pick a number and like a range.
You
or
pick
whatever.
pick a third. So it goes from a 50-50 chance to a 33% chance. I was like, nah.
No, thank you. What are you gonna say, Abby?
I don't remember.
Akechi. I think you mentioned Akechi. Something about Akechi, I believe.
When we had just been talking about him gaming the system.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's gone.
I'm sorry.
He's gone forever.
It's Skype's fault. I'm sorry.
Was this the one? No. It was. What's the one where you get caught? It's hers,
This one.
right?
Yeah, it's
This
this
one,
one.
Yeah, this is the one that you see at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Another trope I love. I love the flash forward and flashback. There were rumors. Again, I keep drawing fucking comparisons to Code Geass, but there was an interview with the creator that he wanted to start Code Geass off with a flash forward to the end of the series, end of the first season, and I wish he would have done that instead. I think it's so cool. I like seeing how you
got to be careful about how you do it, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you do it well, I think it's a great storytelling tool. But I like seeing how something ends up there. Like, oh wow, interesting. How does that happen? It's almost the same thing as a spoiler, almost, really.
Yeah.
But I never look at it as a spoiler if it was put there by them. But I liked it in this instance. I thought it was cool seeing you get caught. And then the entire time, you're wondering which one of them betrays you, because they say to you, oh man, one of your teammates ratted you out. Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, I wonder who it was. Like the whole game, I'm wondering.
Bet it was Morgana, that son of a bitch.
I genuinely was thinking it's Morgana.
Same. And actually, you know what? I was thinking about there were a few conclusions I was trying to draw from him saying that. And I was actually thinking about this yesterday when I was figuring out what I was going to talk about today. Was that I think while I think Akechi makes the most sense plot-wise, I think it would have been cool if it was somebody who was with you the whole time. Like a Ryuji. I mean, I know you wouldn't like that, Abby, but or like a Ryuji. Like Morgana would have made sense, and actually
Morgana would have made sense because, like, early on, it felt like he was legitimately just using you for his own end. So it would make sense that he would betray you at some point.
There was a point where I was 100% expecting Mishima to become a villain, and it was at a point where he started saying things like, I'm the only reason you guys are famous. I'm the only reason the Phantom Thieves exist. I'm the only reason this and that. You guys don't respect me. I help you guys out so much, and you guys don't notice. I'm running the fan site. You guys are the only. And I'm like, oh,
dude,
interesting.
can we talk about?
You thought he was going full syndrome.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Mishima for a minute? Because like, one thing that really bugged me in his like confidant route is that he would say things, and I'm like, I want to respond by being sort of sympathetic, but I have sass options, and that's all I have.
Sass.
Which I think probably led to him saying stuff like that, because you can only like...
It's almost like...
You can't be nice to him in a way, it's always like you're secretly making fun of him, and I don't like that. Because he's one of my favourite side characters, to be honest. Like, I think he's quite sweet and genuinely has his heart in the right place and stuff.
I maxed his thing out, just because I felt like the dude's got our back. You know, like I wanted to make sure that I saw his dude through the end. Because I like Mishima as well. I totally thought he was gonna become a villain though. When he started saying that stuff, I'm like, oh man, he's going to the wacky place now. He's gonna.
Yeah, and then you go to Mementos to try and find him in there, and you're like, oh, he's in there, but we don't need to change your heart. And I'm like, what? Why did we go and find him then?
Wait, what? Oh, because you were doing his rank stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he changes it on his own. That whole.
I kind of wish that Akechi was a palace. In all honesty, I'm just gonna say that.
It'd be interesting to see what it looks like.
He'd totally know you were there, though.
Yeah. He would.
He'd totally know.
But yeah, the next palace, Shido's palace.
Is it Shido's? Okay, so this is another one of my moments, like with the bad end, where I had a weird thought that, in hindsight, would have been a terrible, terrible idea. I thought, his palace is a boat. We don't really need to fight him. We just want him to stop doing his stuff. Why don't we just blow a hole in the boat and sink it? And then I realised that when he basically kills himself, and because of that the boat starts sinking, I was like, oh yeah, that would kill him. That would completely ruin the plan entirely. Oh well, I guess I accidentally killed Shido.
This palace was the grand finale of the fucking key system that Evie and I hate so much. You get in there, and you walk right to the door. Oh, we need 5 letters of recommendations to open this door. Okay.
I didn't really see it as a key system, though. I don't know why. I just saw it as
his 5...
Yeah, I know it literally is. But for some reason, it didn't register with me in the same way as all the others, where it was just like, you're going to have 5 mini-bosses. I was like, okay, cool.
I mean, yeah, it's structurally laid out that way, but after seeing that that's their method of like gating anything off in this entire game is, oh, you're gonna need this key for it that has a name, and you got to go find it. It's like, oh, eh. And then they do it several times in the palace. Oh, you need the restaurant thing, you need the membership card or thing to get into the restaurant. It's like, Jesus Christ, could you just for once? And you got to run around and eavesdrop and find the guy who lost the card, and then track his footprints down, get the card, go back up, open the goddamn restaurant. It's like, could you not? Oh, then you need this to get into the goddamn changing room. Or you need like, no, stop. And then, preface, I hate this fucking palace. Anyone listening to this podcast right now, anything I say about this palace is going to be anger. I hate it. Aesthetically, fine, it's cool. Big boat party, corrupt politician, everyone's kissing his asshole, whatever. But this palace, mechanically, has to be... Whoever made this at Atlas, P-Team, whoever the fuck, Cry Team, whoever the developer is for this game, I don't know who actually develops it. I'm just going to use Atlas as the umbrella. Whoever's idea it was for this palace, I don't know if it was a director who's no longer working on Persona anymore, and if it was his idea, good, because he's not working on Persona anymore. Never make this... I had complaints about Persona 4, about the dungeons being linear hallways with rooms. They remedied that in Persona 5, and for the most part, everything we've talked about today, I haven't had as many complaints about the palaces as I initially thought I had. Kamoshida's I liked, Madarima's I liked, Kanashiro's I liked, Futaba's I liked, Okumura's could do without. Sai's I liked. This thing is like I wouldn't say I'm as angry as I am disappointed in the fact that this isn't the final dungeon, but when you're doing it in your head, it is, because you don't know you're going to be going into the depths and fighting fucking a god. At this point, you know, Shido is the culmination. You're told, oh, this is the Phantom Team's last job. Okay,
wasn't Sai's also the last job, or was it Akumura's that was the last job?
I don't think they said it for either of those. I don't think.
I do recall them saying this will be the last job that we
Size.
do. Oh no, yeah, it was Sai's
because Akechi was like,
this is the last one you have to
disband.
do.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it definitely wasn't Okumura's. So I'm getting hyped up for that. And one thing that pissed me off is the whole fear-mongering of this being like the point of no return almost. And, you know, Morgana tells you if you have anybody you want to talk to before you enter here, please do it beforehand. So I'm like, okay, I will spend then the days up to this deadline doing social link stuff instead of just going and one-shotting the dungeon like I usually do. So I was stressed out in that regard, you know, trying to get in as many final words in as I can with people. And I ended up not maxing out a lot of them, which makes me angry.
Here's the thing. Sorry. I'm pretty sure that in this palace they said we're going to leave it. We should leave it until the last minute to change its heart.
That's
because
Sai's
we don't know
palace.
what he's... Was it Sai's?
Yeah, because at Sai's palace, because Akechi says that she's probably expecting the Phantom Thieves and it will frustrate her in the real world that they haven't sent her a calling card yet. So he says wait till the last day to send it so that her emotions in the real world start boiling over and it plays with her mind. Whereas this one, it was like, this is the last job. We need to do this before the election. We need to change his heart because things are fucked.
Never mind.
Yeah, it was Sai's. I mean, they're so close to each other. You know, it's and you pretty much kind of jump right into Shido's not long after Sai's is over. So it bummed me out that I interpreted. I figured after I beat Shido's palace, the game would start its crawl to the end. And that if I beat Shido's palace with like 28 days left on the counter, that those 28 days would just dissipate and the game would start ending. I didn't know I'd still have those days. So I kind of did things differently going into... Because usually I beat the dungeon as quick as can, and then I just kick back and spend my vacation time basically doing nothing.
And let Futaba sleep for 2 weeks solid.
Yeah. So I was already in a bit of a tizzy going into this one. What disappoints me so much about it, and then I'll pass the baton to you guys, is there's a mechanic in here that I thought was cute at first. And
is it the hallways and the mice? Is it the hallways and the mice? Yeah.
I initially was like, oh man, I want every one of my party members as a mouse, as a figure on my desk. I thought it was so cute. Then, okay, that's fine. A little bit frustrating of a mechanic. You know, when you enter certain rooms, you turn into a mouse. If you get hit by a guy, you're one shot and you die. So you need to figure out how to get to the end of this maze, like labyrinth of halls, by going through tunnels and avoiding the sight lines of enemies. If you're a mouse in a certain room, you need to figure out, oh man, when I flip this switch, the hallways turn me into mice now, and the rooms don't, and this and that. And okay, that's all fine and good. Fun little puzzle mechanic. Thought out, whatever. Get to the first mini-boss, beat him. Okay. Get to the next section, the next lead-up to the second mini-boss. They turn me into a mouse again. Okay. I see. Okay, interesting. This is your puzzle for this palace. I beat all that. Third mini-boss. At this point, I'm angry at the thing in general because I'm having a bad time in it. Turn me into a mouse again. Okay. Atlas. Yeah, you couldn't think of anything else? This is one of your swan song dungeons? You got the same fucking mechanics throughout the entire goddamn 5-hour process of beating this fucking dungeon? Just keep turning me into a mouse? You got no other puzzles? You got nothing else? You run out of ideas? Like you blew your wad on the goddamn mouse puzzle? You got no other guys in there who's like, oh, I got an idea. No, fuck you, we're doing the mouse thing. And it's like, oh,
they
okay.
spent so much time making those mouse versions with the masks that they just had to use them.
Then it happens a fourth time. It's okay. I couldn't, and each time it got longer and longer, and it's like, this isn't fun enough to keep making me do it. Like, this isn't like, I can't wait for the mouse part. Like, no, I can't wait to be done with this dungeon now because I'm sick of being a fucking mouse. Like, Jesus Christ. I fucking hated that palace so much.
I only had one issue with the mouse section, and that was one of the rooms is like a massive, not quite a ballroom because it's got like sofas in it and whatnot, and like 4 dudes, and I didn't realize that there was a tunnel on the eastern wall. I thought that it was literally the only one was the one straight in front of me, because when I did my Spidey Joker sense, I guess the other tunnel was blocked by a sofa, so I just never saw it. And at that point, I'd guided it to work out where the hell am I supposed to go, because I can't proceed.
It's easy to miss them because you don't want to get seen, so you might walk a certain route and think, oh shit, there's a fucking tunnel all the way on that side of the room. I didn't even oh no.
Yeah. That was literally my only problem with.
It's not.
My other problem was a technical one. Well, not a technical one, but it's a bit stupid because there was the free DLC where people got their swimsuits. And, and you go to the swimming pool area, and the guy is like, I'm at a pool, I'm going to put my swimsuits on. And then they're like, we'll put Anne, Makoto, Haru, and Futaba in their swimsuits, and this guy who's a perv will love it. And I'm like, great, I'm in my swimsuit. Off we go. He's like, you need this very specific swimsuit. I'm like, no! It would have been so cool if they'd acknowledged that with the costume that I was wearing. Mine
was I'm an idiot problem, where there's that locked treasure chest by that old guy right before you go down to the pool, and I didn't know I could walk up and just open that shit with a lockpick, because I talked to the guy first, who was standing literally right next to it, as if he was guarding this thing. Yeah. And I walk up and he's like, "Oh, it's a pool. You're gonna need your swimsuits." And I'm like, "Oh, maybe the chest will open if I go in the fucking room and put on my DLC swimsuit," which was stupid because they wouldn't lock that chest behind DLC. I guess maybe other devs might. But
it's a reasonable thing to expect.
Yeah, stupid thing on my part. But I mean, overall, I wouldn't hate the mousing so much if they literally just didn't keep copy and pasting that fucking mechanic over and over again for each one. Like, maybe a different thing leading up to each boss that isn't just, oh, I have another section where I gotta run around like a stupid mouse, and then to have the enemies respawn in certain hallways at certain times that you need to backtrack through. It's like, I'm sick of fighting these same fuckers. I'm sick of turning into a mouse. Just, I want Shido to die because of this stupid palace. Like, fuck, I want to nuke this boat. Like, it just, oh. Man, I was so angry doing that. I was so frustrated. So many angry messages sent your way, Kinross. It was a disaster. I couldn't take it. I had to.
Fortunately, they're so long ago that I can't see them again.
Whew. Anyway, what do you guys think of Shido's Palace?
I hated it.
Thank you, Abby.
Anytime that Abby and Bill say, I hate this thing, and I'm like, yeah, it was alright, I'm putting that down to the fact that I was playing on an easier difficulty.
This is the dungeon that I switched down to a lower difficulty because I was just not having fun.
Yeah, I don't blame you for doing that. I ended up just keeping it on normal just to like kind of just see it through. But honestly,
close. The more that Bill progressed, particularly through Into the Depths and thereafter, and he was just like, screw this. I'm like, there's no shame in turning down the difficulty. He's like, no, I will be and kudos to you for doing so. But there were a lot of messages of just being like, you can drop it, don't worry, no one will judge you.
For me, the reason that I turned down the difficulty was because I do these, like, fucking puzzles with the fucking hallways and the mice and the... Not hard puzzles, I will say, they're just tedious.
Yeah.
And I'd do those and I'd be like, right, cool. And then I'd do something wrong. Like, I would get into a fight that I shouldn't have been in, and I'd get, like, one shot because I'd forgotten to heal or something. Or I'd get caught as a mouse and I'd die. And there's, like I said earlier, no save rooms in this palace whatsoever. So you'd go back, like, 400 years in time because... And then you'd have to do all the mouse puzzles all over again. It wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy a fucking thing about this dungeon, aside from the Akechi fight. And even then, I wasn't particularly enjoying it, because I'm like, cool, I'm fighting my favourite character, cool.
I can tell the biggest issue with the Akechi fight for me was because I was so determined to at least get to the treasure, because Morgana was like, we're so close, I can sense it. I'm like, okay, I'm running low on SP for these guys, I'm switching Ryuji and Yusuke, completely forgot to do the SP adhesive, went to fight the cleaner, eventually got through it. I honestly thought that Akechi was going to be the cleaner. And I'm like, cool, I've beaten this fight, out we go, we're going to go to the treasure room, and then I'm locked in basically 2 fights with Akechi with 2 dudes that don't have an SP adhesive and are not my usual picks, and I used all of my gunfire and everything on the cleaner because I thought that was that. So the Akechi fight, whilst cool, was not a pleasant experience because I buggered myself over.
No.
Because I didn't expect it to do that to me.
Yeah, I can imagine that wasn't particularly fun.
Yeah, I was exhausted of some SP and HP as well going into that fight. Cool fight, though. Great moment. Good acting on Akechi's part. Well, the voice actor's part. Good stuff. Everything I hate everything leading up to it, but I thought the Akechi fight and even the Shido fight was... I mean, Shido looked like a doofus, I think. His final form looked like fucking Super Meat Boy.
Can we talk about the fact that the first the first round of attacks in that game is purely RNG and it's bollocks. I think it's the first round where he will rage you.
Insta-kill, rage.
And you will attack him and that will instantly kill you because he repels physical attacks or whatever. And it's just purely luck.
Fuck shit up.
If you get enraged or not. It's absolutely 100%
That's when
if MC gets enraged. This is why my biggest problem with the game is that I'll have a crap ton of revive items that none of my party can use on me when I die.
Yeah, that's an issue, I think. I think you should be given a turn to revive the protagonist, and if you don't, then it's a game over.
Yep.
If not a full round, at least just pass to the next person who's like, yeah, Arn has an actual revive move. I don't think that she does, but it would make sense for her to, and to just give you that second chance, because otherwise 90% of the time your revives are sat there waiting for the one instance where someone dies and you're like, I kind of actually need you back right now.
Yeah, the RNG. I switched to a persona who I ended up using them on the False God fight as well. Was one that when I got to 0 HP I wouldn't die. I would stay at 1. And I didn't want to use that persona because he didn't have too many good offensive capabilities. He was mostly my fail-safe, alright, he has regenerating health and he doesn't die. Let's throw him on. It makes fights boring for me when I come to the main character's turn, but it saves my ass. But that was the first time we got to hear Rivers in the Desert, which is...
yes.
The best song in the game.
Don't remember it, but I know that it was my favourite song in the game.
That song I've listened to non-stop since I got to that fight. It makes that certain things in the last boss fight. It was so long I didn't care after a certain point because I was so tired and in a daze. But that's okay because Rivers in the Desert was on and it played for an hour straight. on that last fight.
Wasn't it playing throughout the depths as well?
No.
No.
I
Or
don't
was
think
it
so.
was it playing all the time when you were in Tokyo? I feel like it was playing longer than just the boss fight.
Rivers in the Desert? I don't remember too much on that front. When it was playing
That's fine. Yeah.
on that last stretch there, on the true ending path where you're fighting the angels, I don't remember. It might have been. You might be correct. I just don't remember. But it made some of that shit bearable. Some of those sequences, like, okay, I can get down with this. I got good tunes on. It's like it's when I put music on when I play Overwatch. You know, it's like, all right, this is gonna help me. I like to imagine all of the people in the party can hear it too. I hope they can. I hope all that music was somehow contextualized as part of the metaverse and they could hear it all. Always. But yeah. Shido's Palace.
This is, like, story-wise, was an interesting moment because Shido is, aside from the Phantom Thieves and Akechi, is the only one that really knows the metaverse exists. And so for him to actually try and come up with a way to stop you from giving him a change of heart, because you've threatened him on all sorts of massive TVs, and generally just to destroy you by killing himself on the off chance that it works, was kind of cool. The Ryuji fake out never worked on me, so I was just like, all right, we'll just wait for Ryuji to come back.
It worked on me, and I was fucked off when he like came back and he was like, "Hi, how are you?" And everyone's like, "Fuck you, we hate you now," and just like beat him up and left him there. That made me feel sad.
I was so fucking hyped when they put out their calling card for Shido.
I was like, what do you think? I couldn't work out whether they... This is an issue with me contextualizing story. Futaba said, I have a plan for this calling card, and she turns her laptop round and they're like, that's a cool plan. And then this video plays where they're all stood in a dark room being backlit in their Mementos costumes, and they're actually talking, so it's not just like she's made a Photoshop thing, it's something full on. So did they rent out a space and film this video where Ryuji turns around and goes, what do you think, leader? And you step out of the darkness and go...
Well, they would have had to have filmed it in the metaverse.
Where though? Where did they find a spotlight and...
Or hire costume designers, because they don't have those costumes in real life.
No. That's what confused me about this. So
it's probably one of those scenes where it's like, fuck it, you know? It's suspend your disbelief for that moment. They made a sick video as their calling card.
It was cool.
And then hack the TVs.
Yeah.
It was... I got all hyped for that, and then they take Shido's heart, and then nobody fucking cares. They don't believe it was the Phantom Thieves because of, what's going on with the Mementos. But that's a good segue into the final dungeon, which again, beating the game that night, my goal was to beat the game. And in the last sitting was beat the rest of Shido's Palace and then finish the game off.
It's unfortunate you didn't know that Memento... you didn't let me tell you that Mementos was going to be a thing.
Having a whole another dungeon, full-length dungeon right after it. Yeah. It was like I felt like Lance Armstrong before people found out he was a cheater. I was like in a marathon. Like,
here's a question for you though. When you start that run, they start you at level 1 in Mementos. Did you do the sensible thing and jump straight the way to the end, or were you an idiot like me and was like, well, I guess I've got 56 floors of Mementos to get through. I went through 20 floors and then realized, wait a minute, I could just travel to the end.
Yeah, I just traveled to the end.
And similarly, I didn't know that Lorenza, or whatever her name is, was at the top and could SP heal me. So I'd gone through 20 floors of Mementos, either avoiding fights or having to fight my way through them, and then was dealing with the depths.
I love how you keep calling Lorenzo. That's the best.
I said Lorenza.
Yeah, I think you said Lorenzo. I think.
I don't know.
I heard Lorenzo twice so far over this 2 hours. People can listen back on that one and
I'll listen back. But Oh, and
Yeah,
edit
actually,
and post, I
and
promise.
it's before Levenzel reveal too, so it's like Justine or whatever, or Caroline, whichever one it is, who could heal you at the beginning of the depths.
Yeah.
So I saw that they were both standing outside this time, and I'm like, oh, interesting. What does that one have to say? She's like, oh, I'll heal you up, baby. I'm like, all right, I'm down with that. And then it helped when I got to safe rooms and I was able to heal up because
Pissed me
that
off
dungeon is a
so
sprint,
much. Pissed me
and you
off.
can't leave it. But
Nope.
I was angry at that dungeon that night, and the final dungeon is everybody's palace pretty much. It's the depths of mementos, which represents society as a whole. But this dungeon looked awesome. I thought really cool looking. I love the whole theme of it. I like that your final job was changing the hearts of everybody basically, and freeing them from the their way of thinking. And that night, how angry I was after beating Shido's palace, I think kind of had me view this palace as harder and more frustrating than it was, because I really didn't run into too many roadblocks in this palace, really, that like things that frustrated me that were excessively long. Because overall, I thought the floor puzzles were pretty good, like overall, and honestly, there weren't too many hard fights in this dungeon. I ended up having a pretty good party composition where the things that they were weak to I had ready, like nuclear and blessed, and these things that I just had ready to rock. And
I think I had some unfortunate timing of accidentally going, like there'd be a safe room that I wouldn't notice, and going into a big fight that you were supposed to use a safe room to like prepare for the big fight, and I just didn't
transport back
it.
and get healed. Once I found I was able to transport back to the beginning and just heal up full heal, like I was so much less stressed, like going through the rest of that, just a lot more welcoming, I think, to beating the rest of it. And then I got to the last stretch, and once I got the plot reveals that it came with, I was back on board until I got to the last boss, which took me almost an hour and a half. Then I was frustrated again. But then the chorus of Rivers in the Desert would play, and I would be okay. Yeah, what do you guys think of the depths of Mementos?
I really liked it.
For me, I just thought I was so much closer to the end of the game than I actually was. So I was like, I'm gonna do this in a day, and it just kept going. It kept going and going and going.
So you had the same as Bill.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know that this is a dungeon, so I expect it will probably take me a while. And I beat it relatively quickly, and then it was the second part up in Tokyo that took me significantly longer, I feel.
It's just at that point I was like, when I got to Mementos, I was like, yeah, I'm probably like a couple hours away from finishing the game. Got to the point where we were in the Velvet Room talking to Igor, and there was that reveal, and then like he's the final boss. So I'm like, oh well, if he's the final boss, then yeah, definitely I've got like an hour to go, maybe 2. So I'll keep going. And then all the Mementos comes into Tokyo, and then there's those 4 Guardian bosses, and you're like, okay, fine, that's whatever. I've got to be nearly at the end, so I'll do this. And then I did the final boss. That took me like a good hour and a half in itself. And I'm like, okay, I've beat it. I've done it. Like, obviously, I've done it now. And then you have to live in the game until you leave Tokyo to go back home. And I'm like, I've been here for the last like fucking 8 hours thinking I was at the end of the game, and I totally wasn't.
One thing that legitimately pissed me off about that part, like the living in the game part, is, and I understand it's a really nice reward for the people who manage to do so, but it really annoyed me that you could only say goodbye to people yourself if you had maxed their confidence.
That sucked because I'd only ranked out 3.
I did.
Yeah, shitty mechanic.
I was confused as to where people were, because it was like, you need to say goodbye to everyone, and I'd only max ranked the Doctor, Kawakami, and one other person. I honestly don't remember.
Mine was Ryuji Mishima and Futaba.
And Sai.
Oh yeah, of course. And all the ones that were like
Kawakami, the Doctor, and Sai.
I'd ranked out all the ones that were like mandatory throughout the game.
Yeah. So I said goodbye to them, and I was like, okay, I still need to say goodbye to An, Futaba, Makoto, Sojiro. Where the hell are they? I can't find them. My map doesn't say anything about it, and I was like, and then I twigged that I'd only talked to the people that I'd max ranked, and I was like, well, I guess that's what that's about. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm with these characters this whole fucking game. You're telling me that because they didn't max their freaking rank, I can't say goodbye to Ryuji. I can't say goodbye to Anne. Like,
it took me fucking ages to find Ryuji because he was in the arcade where I had never been before. So I was like, where is he? I need to say goodbye to my friend.
I maxed Makoto, Futaba, and Mishima. And I was at rank 9 with Anne, and rank 8 with Ryuji, and rank 8 with Yusuke. Like, I was so on the cusp of getting so many ranks that... But then, you know what? I should have been smarter, and I get so angry at myself thinking about it now. I was trying to fucking get my kindness up to talk to freaking Sojiro, which ended up... I knew I wasn't going to end up maxing him in the end, so what was the point? And then I could have used that time working at the freaking flower shop to max Anne, Ryuji, and Yusuke instead. And, like, ugh. Oh, it makes you so freaking mad.
Another stupid thing. In order to to get to more ranks with Sojiro, you need max kindness. And by hanging out with Sojiro, you are rewarded with kindness.
On that very next step, when you finally max your kindness and you're in your room with Sojiro and Futaba, you get kindness. I'm like, what the fuck? Thanks, I guess. Maybe give it to me in another stat, you piece of shit. I need it in knowledge. Maybe I learned something from
proficiency.
This. Come on. But yeah, I mean, instances like that, you know, it's hard to get it right on your first go about. So I'm not too angry about it. It's just, you know, it bums me out that they gated goodbyes behind Max Confidant with some of your best friends in story-wise. Like, why? I can understand maybe, you know, saying goodbye to the journalist or the shogi girl, you know, or, like, that's like, you know, oh man, you get to say goodbye to them if you max their confidant. But I just hung out with Ryuji, on Yusuke, and all those people for like 100 hours. I can't say goodbye to them. I mean, I'm glad they give you that final scene in the van. Like, thank God. You know, otherwise it would have felt really hollow if you didn't get that goodbye that way. But, like, come on, man. Let me say goodbye to Anne. Let me say goodbye to Ryuji. Like, fuck you. Like, what the hell? Let me out. I did
those gifts transfer to New Game Plus, by the way.
I fought a god with these people. Let me say goodbye.
Some of them.
But yeah, so I think the last thing on my mental bullet list is talking about the confidants and the characters in general, which there's a lot of them. I didn't max all of them out, but I still like to talk about the ones you
I didn't even discover like 4 of them. I'm pretty sure I didn't discover the politician or whatever. I didn't meet the gun kid until right at the end of the game.
Same. When you told me where he was, like, how to get that part, that's when I'm like, oh man, I really want to know his story. It bums me out. Because he seems like he has something deeper there with his parents or something. I don't know. I wanted to see it. It pissed me off.
Shogi Girl actually made me want to learn how to play shogi, so I played a couple of games online, got my ass handed to me.
It made me want to get back into March Comes in Like a Lion or whatever, that anime that was out last season or 2 seasons ago. I didn't understand shogi, so I'm like, I'm not watching this. But the anime was cool because Bump of Chicken does the OP. I know this is totally irrelevant, but hanging out with her, I'm like, man, shogi, it's basically just chess. But I can't. But the problem is that when you're watching someone play shogi, I don't know what those fucking symbols are all the time. So like, I don't know what piece they're moving. Like, whereas with chess, it's visually obvious when they're moving a knight or rook, you know, whatever. But yeah. Anyway.
Cue the most dick move. The school quiz like stuff that happened throughout. I get it's a Japanese game, but for the love of God, could they not have localized it so that it wasn't so Japanese history heavy? Or hey, what's wrong with this kanji? That sucked. That really sucked.
Yeah, I just pulled the network.
What's the difference between the kanji for bird and crow? Oh, the crow one doesn't have an I in it. How was I supposed to know that?
Like I said, for any school quiz question, just network it up.
I didn't know that network was an option until like the last third of the game.
I was not gonna fuck around with those questions. Especially, once I started getting the questions, okay, I don't know any of this shit. I am pulling it every time. It would have been funny if one of the 99%ers was wrong. Would have been funny, but it was funny. As you got towards the later questions, the percentage wasn't as high. Instead of being at like 99, it might have been like 91. I feel like it's probably less people got to that point of the game, and there was smaller sample size. Whereas the questions early on in the game, like 100% of the people get it right because millions of the people who bought the game probably played the first 20 hours I didn't play anymore. Most people don't beat games. But who was your favorite confidant? Everybody, Abby, I know yours is probably Ryuji.
Ryuji or Mishima?
Mine's a toss-up between Kawakami and the Doctor. I can never remember their name.
Tai Takami.
I did not do very well on any of the confidant stuff. I think after those two, Ryuji was like my highest, and he was like an 8, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because I was paranoid that I didn't have the right stuff set up, so I spent a lot of time working jobs to earn money to buy better equipment. And for a long time, when in the first half of the game, when it was like, I don't think my rank with, or my connection or bond with Ryuji will grow this time, I'm like, okay, I won't do anything then, I'll try next time, because I thought this day is not the right day. I didn't think it was a case of you just need to go through some duff encounters to get to the next actual rank encounter.
I think the way that they frame that for sure is kind of confusing in that regard, yeah, because it asks you and if you still want to hang out with them. It's like, oh, yeah. You're not close. Do you still want to? It's like, well, I have to in order to get close. So yes, I do want to. Why are you asking me that? Like, you know, like you like framing it as if like, yeah. The only reason I knew is because I played a little bit of Persona 4, and that like it's like everything else though. They don't really give you any indicators numbers wise how close you are to literally anything in the game. So it's kind of a bummer. Especially with skills, like if they ever make a Persona 5 Crimson or whatever revision they'd end up doing, Morgana's little limitations on what you do at nighttime could go fuck off, and let me see how close I am to a skill up, please. Like, it wouldn't kill you.
Am I 2 points away from a knowledge up? In which case, I'll go to the library the next day and study. Mm-hmm. Or am I 100?
It's almost like, oh, you don't know how close you are in real life to getting smarter. It's like, yeah, but I know if I read this fucking book, I'll know that. Like, just tell me. Like, give me... That's why initially it confused me, because when it would tell me I went up like a point up, I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't rank up at all. What are you talking about? When really it just meant you're a point closer to a rank up. It's like, oh, okay. I see what you mean. That's really... Which
is a completely arbitrary number that you don't know about, so...
I'm sure I can Google them, but again, I don't want to look stuff up as I'm playing, so it's
you'd have to look it up and then keep track of it yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, I probably should have done that for the kindness thing, because I think I fucked myself a bit. I really thought I was doing good. Like, I was like rank 8 with a lot of people I cared about, and I was like, keeping all on top of all that stuff. I thought I would rank out most of them. Ended up not doing it because of other things I got sidetracked with and other skill requirements I got sidetracked with, and it really bummed me out that the game kind of threw that in my path. But mostly it's my own fault, so I can't really blame the game for wanting to work at the flower shop. But I could blame the flower shop for being garbage.
Can we actually blame? Can we talk about the worst confidant gating in the world? The gun shop man.
Oh my god.
You need rank 4 guts like 10 hours into the game.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're going to give you this bag, force this bag upon you based on like story progression, and you can't talk about this bag until you're rank 4 guts, which for me was like 50 hours into the game. So anytime I went into the shop, Morgana was like, do you want to talk about that bag? I'm like, I don't think that I've got enough guts.
Morgana, I fucking can't.
No. I still can't talk about it, Morgana. It's just not a good time. So many confidants I met so late in the game that it just felt like I shouldn't even bother. And that bums me out. Fortunately, if I had New Game Plus it, I already have enough guts now to do it straight away.
Even, I remember talking to Ebbia about, the gun thing, the gun guy thing, and by the time she got it, it was maybe too late for it to be worth it. And I did it a little earlier than she did, and even when I did it, like the gun customization thing is fine and all, but I never used it because I don't use my guns that much. Like, and I never really upgraded my guns either. If something was weak, I used it to knock them down. I never really used it to do damage with a lot of my characters. So it's like I never upgraded my guns once. I never bought new guns. I never did any, like I just that was there solely to just pop them down and then just all out attack. And a lot less things were weaker to guns too as the game went on. So it's like, all right, whatever. So overall, whatever the fuck he gives you, like I don't even. His confidant story was kind of boring too. There are a few confidant stories where it's like I don't care. The politician, I didn't care. The reporter, I didn't really care. Him, I didn't care.
I kind of cared about the. Actually, I think I got rank 10 with the reporter.
I just didn't care.
One thing that I want in my life.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Carry on.
No. Carry on.
One thing that I want from this game is I want to be able to play as a girl and romance the boys, because it sucks that there's so many good male characters in this game, and it's just like,
for sure,
I can't do anything about it.
Or even let you be gay.
It's generally, it's genuinely so weird to me that it's not a thing. Like Persona 3, the PS2 like remaster thing, FES. No. Yeah, FES, or is it the PSP one? One of the two you could play as a female character. And Persona 4 you couldn't. I feel like there are less good male options in Persona 4. Persona 5 has a lot of really great male confidants, and it's really strange that you can't explore Yusuke or Ryuji in a romantic way. Like,
or Sojiro.
Like, I mean, you could romance adults. You could romance your teachers, so, I mean, you might as well. It's strange. It's, like, in this day and age, it's weird. Nothing would be lost. It's like, oh, well, the main character has to be a male. Like, your character's a pretty blank slate for the most part. You could be a badass woman just as you could be a badass main character here. Like, your personality wouldn't change. Like it's very blank slate. So it's really baffling to me that you can't. It's, you know, like, so it's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. I wouldn't even do it. It's a bummer. Like, you know, it's a bummer that's not there.
Because, like, can you imagine how good it'd be to play as a girl or something and romance Mishima or Yusuke?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
100%.
Just not the kid in the arcade.
The kindergarten kid. No, not kindergarten. He's elementary school, isn't he?
Yeah. Speaking of romance, who did you all romance?
Futaba.
Didn't you? Okay, this is a question that I had. You said that you accidentally romanced Arn.
Yeah.
Did
I accidentally romanced
undo
Arn.
that, or
I undid that.
did you carry on?
I loaded
okay.
a previous save. Because I
my
was
question
like,
was,
oops,
like,
because I was just
anytime-
trying to be like her confession scene was like really weird, because she like saw her friend again the last time before she moved away. So I was like, oh, I'll, comfort her. That seems like the right thing to do. And then she's like, I'm in love with you. And I'm like, okay, there's an option here, so I'm going to say, no, I'm not interested, basically. And it happens anyway.
Oh. So, my question was, and I didn't know whether you'd reload an old save, was because any time that you get a girl up to rank 9 again, it's like, be careful what you choose because you're already dating someone. And I was like, what happens if I do start dating a second person? Because at the end of the game, it says you're allowed to hang out with one person. It gives you like an option list, and it only has one person in it because I'm only seeing one person. I'm like, could I have chosen between 5 girls on Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day.
So I might try that out. Or Christmas, or whatever it was.
Valentine's Day in particular is an interesting one. I sent Bill a video.
Hilarious.
Basically, everyone who I'm assuming if you romance more than one person, everyone who you've romanced goes to your house to give you chocolate, and then they get mad at you for seeing multiple people.
That's amazing.
They beat you up, and then they leave, and then Sojiro gives you a chocolate, gives you a pity chocolate.
That's amazing.
Really funny scene, yeah.
So my romance option, because it was the weirdest goddamn thing that I'd ever seen in my life when Mishima, Ryuji, and yourself decide that you're going to call a maid over to this empty apartment, and it turns out it's your teacher, I was like, okay, if you can romance her, I'm going to see what happens, because it's really, really weird.
Yep.
And it continues to be weird. Though her rank 10 ability is amazing, because she lets you do stuff of an evening.
Oh god.
Like if you're tired from going to Mementos or a palace, she comes over, gives you a massage, and you're like, I'm good to go.
That fucking sucks that I don't have that.
Yeah, and I was like, this is 100% worth it.
I mean, you don't have to romance her to get it either. That's good. You could just be like, I don't want to
you could just get her to rank 10.
I'm just using you for your massage. Damn. What the fuck?
But she costs a lot of money to get to rank 10. And the story was kind of interesting. You have like two intimate moments where you just lie on her lap. One of them is at the school festival, and she calls you into like the staff room and you have a chit chat, and she's like, I think that's when she says, I know you're a phantom thief, and you just lay down on her lap, and then the day ends. And then Valentine's Day was really weird, because after you'd been hiring her as a maid for the better part of a year, getting her to do your laundry and make you coffee, she like walks from the other side of the table, sits next to you, snuggles up to you, and is like, and now it's your turn to serve me, and then it fades to black. So I don't know whether I'm supposed to infer that
they fucking Ross. They 100% fuck.
Is that true? I don't know.
Yes, yes, because that scene it's kind of the same, I assume, for everybody, because Makoto had a fade to black scene like that, where it's like, let's do something else kind of thing, and it's inferred that they're about to fuck.
I don't know that Futaba did, which I'm a little bit grateful for.
Yeah, I was hoping not. I mean, they're all the same age, so like, no to any of them. But
I mean, it's perfectly legal in the UK if they're over 16. So,
yeah,
or if they're 16 or whatever.
What was cracking me up, dude, was you go to the staff room. I know you're a phantom thief, and he just cuddles on her lap. Like, that's the sequence. Like,
I think this happened so long ago, like, because she there was probably some other stuff in between, but it was like she was being bribed or guilt tripped into paying a lot of money, and then suddenly the people that she was paying money to had a change of heart, and she's like, yeah, you're clearly a phantom thief. Yeah. That also might have been at the very end of the game, and she's like, look, I knew the entire time, you idiot. But
yeah, 'cause you hung a poster in your room that had the Phantom Thieves logo on it.
No, she must have known. She must have known sooner, because when it's announced that you've killed yourself, she's like, oh, no! And they've not announced the name or anything, so she must know that you're involved with the Phantom Thieves.
Sorry, who are you talking about? It cut out for a second there.
Kawakami.
Okay.
So, yeah. It was a weird relationship, but...
Okay, it does have, like... Futaba's confidant thing does have a fade to black scene, but it's after she says, I should go home. So she goes home. You walk her home. I think your mic just turned into a robot for me. I couldn't
You broke up, I'm sorry.
She says what? Walk her home.
You walk her home.
She said, I wish...
No, hold on. I'm just going through it really quickly just to see if it does have a fade scene.
Is it the rank 9 or rank 10 scene? Because I think the rank 10 scene's the fuck for most characters.
No, her rank 10 scene is... it does fade to black.
Because
what does it do?
The rank 9 scene for Makoto takes place in a bar. It concludes her story, and then you visit her again to get to rank 10.
Oh, no. Okay. Maybe it does. Okay. She says, you're okay with going home a little late today, right? As it fades to black. So, yeah. Okay, never mind.
There's two romance scenes that you get. The one that takes you to rank 9, and then the one that takes you to rank 10. The one that takes you to rank 10, I'm pretty sure, is the... I can't whistle very good, but...
No, I reached rank 10 way before Valentine's.
The fuck isn't just on Valentine's. I guess it's maybe different for... I
think that Kawakami gave me another nap time on her lap, for rank 10. Because she was like, this is really weird, but I guess...
Might be different then.
I guess I love you too. Thanks for paying me 100,000 yen. And I'll keep calling you master.
The main characters seal the deal with Makoto twice. Valentine's Day and the rank 10 scene. I romanced Anne first because, like, I felt like, I was torn the whole game between Anne and Makoto. Anne
is canon for Ryuji. I'm almost certain of that.
That's how I felt a lot of the game, but then it's like, I've spent so much time with her through the game and something kind of felt right. So, but her confession scene sucked so bad that I instantly reloaded my save. No, that's crap. I'm not doing that. That was the worst, like, weirdest scene where, like, her suicidal friend is back in action. Her suicidal friend leaves, and then he's go, "Oh, I'm here for you," and she's like, "What?" And then she's like, I love you for real." And then you kind of hug, and she's like wiggling around in your arms, and then you kind of like your head moves in and like give her a kiss, and she's like, "Whoa!" And she like runs away. It's like, what the fuck is that? What?
I thought the girls always ran away
No.
after you kiss them.
Makoto doesn't run away. Makoto's cool.
You totally don't even get a kiss scene with Futaba.
Don't get a kiss scene with Kawakami either. Is Makoto the canon?
See,
choice?
here's why in my mind Makoto is built up as canon. I guess it probably depends on your confidant rank as well. But there's a scene when they go on vacation where you guys go to Hawaii, and there's a scene where you have two choices. You either go hang out with Ryuji and try to pick up chicks, or Makoto calls you and says, "Hey, I'm done with my chaperone duties. I finally get an hour to myself. This whole entire trip has been work for me, basically. I just want to take a walk on the beach. Do you want to join me?" And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That seems like a much more special moment than just going and hanging out with Mishima and Ryuji trying to pick up chicks. So yes, I am going to pick that option. And I still wasn't sure yet who I wanted to romance. And I get that option. There's a really nice scene between the two of them and Makoto and yourself, and you guys have a nice long chat. I mean, you sit on a bench, and she gives you a gift that she picked out for you from one of the gift shops. And like, oh man, that's a really nice scene. Like, that pushed me over the edge a little bit towards Makoto, even though I still ended up picking Anne for some reason the first time. But I was like, man, like, this seems like I wasn't sure if it was because of my confidant rank. It was just a moment out of the blue.
Yeah, I didn't get that choice.
So I just assumed that was just part of the story, and kind of to develop her character a bit. Like, she finally gets a chance to just kind of go, and like kind of cut loose for a second. I'm not so sure any of them are necessarily canon. I'm going to assume Anne was probably built up as canon because there's that scene when you come back from your suicide and you enter the diner, and like she's like one of the last ones they show turn around, and it kind of the way that scene was framed to me, I think it would have been a lot more impactful if I had romanced Anne, because the way she turns around and the way that she's the last one to turn around and like just the way she looks at you, kind of, I'm like, oh man, like that scene alone kind of implies, I wonder who, because the anime cutscene, they, that's only one of them. They don't have one for every girl you romance, so that's why I don't think there's any one canon choice. But that scene at the beach for Makoto was kind of like, interesting, and I liked Makoto a lot as a character in general. I thought the instant that I went to go see a Yakuza movie with her in the theaters was like, all right, I like her a lot. I thought her awakening scene was really cool, with the motorcycle and everything, and it was a nice character shift from the uppity character that she was leading up to your investigation, like investigating you guys the whole time. But,
what? So Makoto was in Hawaii because the teachers weren't available because the principal had just committed suicide, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why was Kawakami in Hawaii?
I mean, I assume they need more than one chaperone.
Yeah, but they took like a load of 3rd years, didn't they?
I don't remember. I actually didn't even remember Kawakami was in Hawaii. Was she in Hawaii?
Yeah, she came. Maybe it was because of confidant rank, but she came and met the group of us and said, "Don't go getting into trouble."
I actually don't remember.
No, it was right at the beginning where it was trying to arrange who was sharing rooms with who, and Ryuji's like, "I want to share a room with Anne," and Kawakami's like, "No."
I don't See, the problem with
Yeah, I
the
don't
whole
remember.
Hawaii thing was that it was super boring, like, in my opinion. I was, like,
Yeah.
super excited because it was, like, school trip, we're going to Hawaii, it's gonna be great, and then, like, nothing happened there.
Yeah, literally.
I think I liked it mostly because of the Makoto scene.
I didn't even get the option
I think
for
you
that.
get-
Because Yusuke showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was
And
like,
I
what?
love that. I thought
You're
that was
supposed to be in Los
hilarious.
Angeles.
And I kind of liked some of the interactions with some of the food stands, and I think honestly, I think the Makoto scene probably sealed the deal for me in terms of me liking the
I didn't
Hawaii
get to
stuff.
interact with food stands.
That might have been the Makoto scene actually. You guys go and get some. You guys go to a food stand and she asks what you want, and you do you want something that's more out of the ordinary? Do you want us to get safe and have this conversation about exploring things and whatever? And I think honestly, if you got the Makoto scene, Hawaii's a million times better. It sounds
like it.
Yeah.
Imagine Hawaii, but
you
without the Makoto scene, because that's basically what I got. I just tried to pick up chicks on the beach with Ryuji and
Yeah.
Mishima, and I was like, kind of bored of this, because that's all this trip has been.
And it was a scene that was like voice acted too. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm reading text, like, where like he'll just go like, oh, right, or oh, like it was actually fully voice acted and all that, and it was a good scene. And also we got the scene where it was pretty much thrown front and center that Ryuji likes Anne. I think that whole conversation between them in the room when she asked him what kind of girls that he likes, and his answer couldn't be any clearer, really. Anne throughout the whole game is built up as this model with a great body, and he pretty much answers that. So, and I picked that answer as well because I'm like, at that point in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna romance Anne. This was before the Makoto scene. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna romance Anne, and then when you say that, Ryuji goes, "Wait, do you mean her?" And like, it's like, okay, I mean, Ryuji, you just answered the same thing, so you just confessed basically. But other than that, yeah, I mean, nothing happens there. Nothing story-wise really happens there. Besides finding out what your next palace will be.
Yeah,
Okumura, you see the Big Bang Burger.
They say that Akumura, the Big Bang Bird, is expanding into new territories.
Yeah.
You said that Makoto gave you a gift, and that leads to my next question. In the shops, there is stuff that says would be ideal for a gift. Mm-hmm. When can you give a gift to anyone?
I was able to give a gift
What is the point
once.
of buying a gift? I didn't get the chance to give gifts ever. I didn't get to give one at Christmas. I didn't get to give one at Valentine's. I just kept getting gifts.
I was able to give a gift to Kawakami twice.
What?
They happen
I don't know
after
how
you
or why.
increase your rank with them or you hang out with them. It'll sometimes bring up a menu saying, "Oh, I think I should give them a gift," and then it'll bring up a menu, and that's what they're for.
Never had that once.
Don't know.
It only happened to me twice.
And it's not
Sorry,
like it would
I
have
don't really
avoided
care.
doing that because I didn't have gifts on me, because I bought a gift thinking I'll give this to someone at some point, and it just never came.
Yeah, didn't happen to me much. I happened to me with Kawakami twice. It didn't happen to me with any other characters. It didn't happen to me with Makoto or anything of the sort, which I'm kind of bummed about. But oh well. Yeah, the Kawakami didn't like the gifts I tried to give her, so she can fuck off anyway.
What? No.
Yeah.
She gives
See
you
ya,
massages.
Kawakami. That's okay.
That she
'cause
learnt
my
in
girlfriend's
Victoria.
gonna become a police officer, so she's gonna kick ass. But yeah, overall, I probably would have liked the Anne romance that I ended up with if I had done the next meeting that takes you to rank 10. Probably would have got more development there. But the Makoto's whole entire thing, see, Anne's confidant story, I didn't think was really all that great.
Yeah, it was just there. I was like,
Like,
I don't really care.
I felt bad the whole modeling thing, but she never really wanted to be a model anyway. And then out of nowhere, it's like, wait, actually, I'm gonna be a real model and I'm gonna do it right. It's like, you just told me like 3 ranks ago you don't even care about this. It's your hobby. You just want to be
Yeah.
tough. So like, out of nowhere, I'm gonna become a model, blah blah blah. And
She's no offense to people who are this, but she seemed like typical teenage girl, just constantly flitting between what she actually wants by saying that she doesn't want this one thing that she starts with, going through like 3 other things, and then saying, actually, I do want to do this thing that I said I didn't want to do. It's just like, I can't be asked.
it's kind of similar, I'd say, in like Makoto's, where she's hanging on to this dream that she's always had, that she admired her father so much, and she always wanted to become the chief of police and take after her dad and take down bad guys, and she's always been so sad that his job killed him, and she kind of flip-flops a bit and like, actually, I don't just want to do something that my family would want. I want to do my own thing.
But that makes sense because she's only done stuff that her family wants, and also her dad died because of it. I'd understand being like, maybe I shouldn't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Arn's just an indecisive, silly Billy.
I know you want to say bitch there, Kinross. I know you
No,
want to say
I silly Billy.
I know you wanted to say
Have you never heard that before?
Silly
I'm going to
Billy.
say silly Billy over here.
Silly Billy is
Silly Billy.
is a UK thing, I think.
It's a legit thing.
Oh my god, it's a new nickname for Bill. Oh my god.
What does it mean? What does silly
It just
Billy
means
mean?
you're being silly.
It's just,
You're being...
yeah, you're just being silly.
Silly.
Okay. I'm pretty satisfied with the romance arc of Makoto, though. Ended pretty well. The Valentine's Day stuff was nice. Christmas stuff was nice. Good pick, I thought. I would have romanced Futaba if
she wasn't your sister.
Even the way she sits, like a gargoyle. My sister sits like that on every chair. So it's like, as soon as I saw her sitting like that, I sent the picture to my sister. I'm like, look, you're in this game. And, my whole family laughed at it because it's literally the exact way she sits. It's fucking weird. I was like, all right, I can't do it anymore. I can't romance Futaba. But her confidant story is my favorite in the game. And what I loved, this is what I was going to talk about earlier. What pissed me off about saying no to Anne, about not romancing Anne, is that it fades to black and says Anne runs away or whatever, and it's like, okay, I guess I was a dick, I guess, whatever. I just escorted you all the way over here and did all these things for you, but you're just gonna run away. Fine, okay, because I didn't want to date you. If you say no to Futaba, if you say, because she in the scene leading up to her romance, it's like I feel a certain way when I'm with you or this or that, and you have an option of answering because you have me or because you have the team. And when you say it because you have the team, she reacts so happily too. Like she's like, "Oh my god, yes! I've always wanted to be part of a team. It's so great. I love you guys. I love hanging." And it's a really nice conclusion to her thing. It doesn't feel like you just fucking shit on her grave.
No.
With Anne, it's like she runs back. Okay, fine then. Fuck you. Like, what? I'm here giving you moral support. Like, what do you want from me? And it felt unsatisfying to leave it there. And I never got it to rank 10 because I just whatever. But whereas like saying no to Futaba, it feels okay. And I haven't seen what happens when you say no to Makoto. Her scene has potential to be kind of heartbreaking, because the whole thing leading up to hers is you're pretending to be her boyfriend to help her find out information about her friend's host boyfriend, and she's like, something about learning about love or whatever, and that's another thing I liked about it, because you got really good scenes with them going on dates, even though they were fake dates. You got to kind of see how they would react and act together on a date. So like, Makoto's romance is pretty good, but the ending to Anne's just running away, like, okay, whatever. That's fine.
I don't know whether it's just me, and it's sort of related to confidant ranks. I quite like how the ending plays out, where I'm just deciding on my own that I'm going to turn myself in and for the good of everyone else, just be like, I'm gone, you don't have to worry, I'm taking all the rap, it's fine, I'm cool with this. And that obviously they're going to pull together to get you out, but I like that I was allowed to do it that way. Of course the game was going to make me do it that way, but I similarly would have thought that it would be like, no, you've got to do this as a team. I was like, no, because you wouldn't sell everyone out for this, even though you've built this huge relationship with you, and they're probably going to hate you for
sure.
leaving them like that. But it is the best choice that you could have made.
Abby, I'm curious what the scene was like for Futaba, because like there's that scene where you're hanging out with Makoto and you have the choice to, like, she can kind of tell something's wrong because it's the day before you're going to turn yourself in. I thought that was a pretty harsh scene. It was kind of a bummer, just because like you kind of can't really say, and like you don't have many responses, and I thought I actually fucked something up, like I ruined the relationship kind of thing, because I was just kind of like, it's nothing, and like she can kind of sense something's wrong. Is there a scene like that with Futaba?
It's on Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. They just sort of like sit and talk about what's going on, and then you get this sort of like feeling that she's like super not happy at the minute, and she sort of like says, "Oh, I'm really worried about like what's gonna happen," and then she just goes, "I'm gonna go home," and then you can either walk her back or whatever. But she doesn't let you walk her home. She just goes. And it's like she totally knows. I think she says something like, "I wish you didn't keep secrets from me."
Yeah. Okay. So I assume everyone has like a scene like
yeah.
this.
Kawakami. I couldn't remember when it happened, but Kawakami comes and visits at some point, and she's like, "Thank you for doing all this for me," and that actually might have been the moment where she's like, "I know you're a phantom thief." I could be wrong. It's all such a jumble.
Sense. Yeah.
And she's like, I know that I've been relying on you so much, and I want you to be able to rely on me. And does that make me a weak person or whatever? And no matter what option you pick, she's like, because I think you say it's fine. You don't need to worry or whatever. Or she asks, "Am I being a burden to you?" And no matter what you say, she's like, "I knew it. I am a burden. I'm just gonna leave."
Ouch.
And she's like, She says, "I knew you were lying. I know that there's something wrong, but whatever." And then she leaves. So I was like, "All right, fair enough."
Freaking ouch. Well,
and then I go and hand myself into the police, and she's like, "I guess we should probably try and help him."
Confidants aside, I'm not sure if it's different, for you guys. Like if I have a favorite confidant, but I have a favorite character overall. It's a little different for me. Like I wouldn't say Makoto's my favorite character, or even Futaba's my favorite character, but she's my favorite confidant story to go through.
Mm-hmm.
What are your favorite? Who's your favorite character overall? Sojiro. For you, Kinross. How about you, Abby?
Ryuji. I'm really lagged, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I meant.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Did you hear my answer at least?
Oh god.
No.
Oh,
No.
it's Ryuji.
We heard you go.
Ryuji.
Okay. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Could you tell me what happens, Abby, in his at the end of his story? 'Cause I didn't get to max him because I mismanaged my time like an asshole towards the end, so I didn't get to see like the end of his story or anything like that.
What?
Just kind of bummed me out.
I might have to look it up because it's been a while. Ryuji rank 10.
I think that as far as I got, they'd reformed the track team without the dickhead.
That asshole. Okay.
Yeah, they got rid of the
That's as
teacher.
far as
They
I got.
reformed the track team, and then you just sort of he learns that he wants to start running again. But
Cool.
he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it without the track team because he doesn't feel like he fits in there, and he fits in better with the Phantom Thieves in general. So
I was expecting him to become kind of like the coach, get these asshole coaches out of here, and Ryuji kind of leads the track team. I was expecting it to end.
I think that's how it ends anyway. I don't
even
remember.
Though he's only a student, but yeah, no, that sounds good. No, that's
Okay. A question about the ending. Sorry.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
So towards the end, they're all like, "Do you really have to go? It's so cool here with you now. We're a nice family. Blah blah blah." Why do we have to go back?
I mean, haven't
we just graduated high school?
I don't think you graduate. I don't think you're
No,
seniors,
it's in your second year.
Makoto's a grade above you.
Oh,
and Makoto's
yeah.
She's a grade above you, so she's older than you anyway.
So why can't I keep going to Shujin Academy or wherever it was?
You gotta go back to your parents. Sojiro doesn't have to take care of you anymore, or probably can't.
Yeah, your probation and suspension's up. You still have your parents in your old life. Sojo's not your legal guardian forever. I mean, I guess you could make a deal with your parents, but I guess the whole deal with the school was made. You're there for that period of time, and then you're going back to wherever you're going. And I mean, story-wise, that's how it's set up.
I hate that. I hate that because it's such a sad ending. It just reminds me of leaving home to go to university, and it sucks.
Just on a level of being someone who tends to have very small, tight-knit groups of friends that take a while to build up anyway, and then to just be like, well, it was a sweet year, but bye. It's just
I mean,
it's something that I don't deal with particularly well, and it was just like, why can't I stay?
yeah, it's a bittersweet. Again, like the entire game, there are forces beyond your will, whether they be in a seat of power or adulthood, or just their word is better than yours. Just kind of send your life in a different trajectory, and because of that, you ended up making all these friends, but also because of that, you still have to go back. Kind of bookends itself in a way that is unfortunate and fortunately sad. But I'm sure these people will see each other on vacations and summers. I mean, they're taking you home in their own car, so it's not like they're totally out of the realm.
Where the fuck did they get a van
distance.
from?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's my question about the ending.
Someone did mention where they got it from, and I can't remember.
Makoto's driving the thing. I don't know who paid for the thing. But yeah, my favorite character is Sojiro, easily. Dude's cool as hell.
He is.
Love that motherfucker.
I can't think of anyone else who has quite such a defined arc of you're a dick kid. You've broken the law. I have no patience for you. You get to sleep in this loft that's full of dust and crap. Just stay out of my way. To, as you are led to believe, putting his life on the line to defend you when the coffee house gets raided and he gets arrested.
And it's so gradual too. Like it's not like a forced development at all. Like
it's not like a confidant rank gaining where suddenly they're like, you're my best friend.
Yeah. It's a really nice steady incline of development that is like, and it's so cool to look back on, like, when he puts on like his pimp looking hat and like you think throughout the game he's talking to women on the phone, but he's obviously talking to Futaba. Like when he's like, I'll be there in 10 minutes or whatever.
I never thought about that.
And it's obviously he's going back home because Futaba is on the phone with him and she needs something. But throughout the game, you think he's a womanizer because, little hints are dropped here and there. But he really likes women and young women and stuff. And it's like, you realize this entire time he's just really going all out to care for somebody else, and you're thrust into his life, and he's a little
honestly hadn't thought about that until you just said it.
Yeah, he's a great character. They really seemingly spent a lot of time on him, which is great, and I'm glad you're able to get a lot out of him without having to max his confidant rank. And in fact, I didn't max it out, but I got to like rank 8 or 7 or whatever, and thankfully a lot of the confidants seemingly have various points where you can go, okay, this is a good stopping point if I don't get to rank it up to 10, because Sojiro's ended up with getting rid of the asshole uncle, and where I stopped, and Futaba deciding, yes, I do want to stay with you, and Sojiro admitting, yes, you can stay with me as long as you want. I'm like, okay, that's a really good stopping point if I don't get to max it. I'm satisfied with that. It's, Ties, again, she ended up, the doctor changed his heart and whatever, and I didn't get to rank 9 with her or whatever, but she's able to practice her medicine. She's, people like her, it's like, that's a cool spot for that. Kawakami's, I didn't get to a good spot. She was in the hospital last time I checked. After that,
that's really not a good spot.
Yeah. But Sojiro's, you get a lot out of him anyway, even with that. I mean, it makes sense because he literally is your guardian, but just, I love that character a lot. The fake out of him, when you go back to LeBlanc, and also, I thought it was LeBlanc the whole time. Until they
is it not LeBlanc?
Yeah, they say LeBlanc.
Damn it.
I think Ebby lagged a bit when she corrected us, or said the name of the place.
I wanted to take part in this podcast so bad, but I just can't understand a word you guys. No, I just can't understand what you're saying at all.
So we're lagging on your end too, like really bad.
It's going to be an entirely new podcast for me when it's out. It's going to be great.
I actually feel very bad.
It's like
absolutely not your fault.
Plus it. But
New Game Plus it.
Yeah, when you walk in and the cafe's all messed, and you hear on the news like, oh, he was taken in and stabbed. He was found stabbed to death. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? And then he walks in. I'm like, oh, okay. Because like they already faked out Ryuji.
Yeah, it happened like 2 minutes earlier with Ryuji, and you're like, all right, fine, it's all good. Ryuji's alive. Beaten
then they had
to
to fake
pulp,
out with,
but he's alive.
Then they had to fake out with Morgana, where Morgana comes back. Well, not necessarily a fake out, but like he comes back as a cat, which I'm so happy about. That made me so happy, that scene. it did feel weird. It didn't hit me at first, but then once they started saying, "Man, I wish Morgana was here for this going away party," and then like you start to realize, wait a second, yeah, it's weird not having him a part of these conversations. It's weird not hearing his voice because you're just so used to it for 100 hours that you don't really like. And then you realize, oh wow, he's gone. And then he comes walking in the door immediately, like, "Hey guys, I'm a cat."
I like that every now and again they remind you that you are the only people that can hear him speak. So you're having these conversations with him that Sojiro can hear your side, and he's like, "I have no idea what's going on." And then the cat's going, "Meow meow 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 meow."
Well, I love that he believes you that the cat is talking.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he has to. He's seen the shit that's gone on with the mementos, but he's all in on the cognitive stuff. But
there's 4 sides of a conversation responding to one person, and he's like, yeah, this is totally something I'm following.
my only lingering thing that I'd love to know more about, and it's probably done on purpose. And these are actually my final thoughts on the game, and then I'm done. We could literally talk forever and ever and ever about Persona 5. Like, there's so many little things in the game that can be brought up and discussed and gone over. Is that I kind of wish they would have went a little deeper on the cognitive world. And
I kind of wish that they told us more about Futaba's mum,
like,
and all
her
that
research.
stuff.
Yeah, like I would have liked to have known a little bit. Like, okay, what was she researching exactly? Obviously, her research was stolen by Shido, and like her research helped him gain knowledge on certain aspects of the cognitive world. But at the same time, from a narrative perspective, you only know as much as the characters know, and like it would be maybe a little bit of a dump if they just like, oh, here's the cognitive world bit by bit by bit, and you just kind of go down this long, okay, this is bogging it down, like it exists, it's there, everybody has it, and that's it. It's a science, it's a part of life, that whatever, and that's fine. I just maybe would have liked a little bit of a deeper dive, but that's again, it's not a flaw, it's just a piece of the lore that I was maybe hoping to get once they started talking about Futaba's mom and her research. I'm like, oh man, they might actually explain this shit. Like, I mean, I guess there's the whole stuff with the god. Now it's interesting to say the least, though. Like, even with the bits we've got, I sort of like a little more of a deeper pluck. But
and now, Evie, you are allowed to talk for the next 3 hours about what you would have liked to have talked about during this podcast. And because Bill has to leave, I'll just sit here and listen. And off we go.
So Persona 5 starts when...
So based on what you've managed to glimpse through the lag, is there anything that a particular moment where you would have been like, I really want to talk about this one particular thing that we've just...
I'm gonna be honest. This spoiler cast took so long to organise that I've forgotten most of the things I wanted to say about the game.
Yeah. You finished it too fast.
I knew I was going to lose interest in it if I didn't finish it when I was interested, so...
Yeah. It is unfortunate that for Bill and myself, life got in the way and delayed it by 2 or 3 weeks more than we had originally planned.
I mean, the game's also 100 hours long.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm the only no-lifer here.
It's a long game. But yeah, I mean, I would have liked to have finished it a lot earlier. There were instances where I was, head ready to go get in there and beat it and put big chunks in, but I just couldn't get to it.
And then
I wanted to.
Life happened.
Sure.
But
I'll agree with that. I don't know what you said, but sure.
I mean, when we hit stop
so
on this,
bad.
there's inevitably going to be things where I wish I would have said. What was that, Abby? What was that noise?
No, I just can't.
That pain?
I can't understand a goddamn word.
Oh.
And I'm like saying something and no one's reacting to it, so I'm like, I guess I'm lagging.
Yeah, that
I heard you go, ah!
Yeah, I heard that groan.
I was like, okay, I guess Abby's moved and given herself pins and needles again.
No, I said something and then it doesn't matter. You know what?
What did you say?
Forget it. You'll hear it in the podcast.
I'll hear
That's
it.
true. There'll be new bits for us to hear in the VOD. Yeah,
At some points, I swear to God, I was whispering, I can't hear them. I can't hear what they're saying.
It will be interesting to edit and maybe try and work around, like, because you'll be saying stuff
I would like
out of sync with us because of lag, and I'm like, oh god.
I would like to apologise on behalf of Virgin Media for being the worst company in the world.
I'm gonna steal their hearts. But
I enjoyed
this was
Persona
lots of fun.
5. There you go. That's my feelings.
yeah.
So if they
What was
were
that,
to do, because they did Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 Crimson, as you called it, what would you like to see changed?
Female character. There you go. That's something then.
Female character for sure.
Is that literally the only
Absolutely.
thing you want changed?
Who, Abby or me?
Either of you.
I think they would immediately lift the Morgana restrictions. I think they made some quality of life changes between 4 and Golden, and I think that is a big one that would alleviate a lot of pain. I think in terms of, I think they would eliminate the Morgana restrictions and add something else to do at night.
I think that rather than limiting the Morgana or lifting the Morgana restrictions, just don't give us control of the character. Because giving control of the character implies you can do something. If Morgana doesn't want you to do anything, just to go straight to bed, just transition straight to the night sequence.
I mean, the fact that it's there almost leads me to believe that if there is a revision, like that's already set up for them to just eliminate that gate, and you're already
Alternatively,
good to go.
Once you get to rank 10 Kawakami and she gives you that massage that lets you do stuff of an evening, that makes sense. But there's some times where you're not even allowed to go downstairs to go to the phone to call her, so those nights, just get rid of it.
I'd like to see some dungeon revisions for certain mechanics. I don't think we'd get that, but just some little touch-ups here and there. I would like to see honestly, for me, mostly just quality of life shit. Like, I would like to know how close I am to a skill up. I would like maybe an easier frame of reference in terms of, I mean, I know it's probably there to be hard to raise a Twin Warden's rank up, but just, I don't know, something that pushed me up there. There's it's such a shitty thing to try to raise. You have to really go guide heavy. But really, Morgana, stop making me go to bed. And I think I could see that being a quality of life feature for sure.
That was my favourite thing, though, was when Morgana has run off, you still send yourself to bed early.
Yeah, what the fuck?
You become a free man. And you're like,
shackles are off!
I guess I should just
still-
go.
I heard that.
I guess I'll just head to bed. Yeah.
Fuck. I couldn't believe it. I was cracking up. It's almost like they did it as a punchline. Like Morgana's gone, and you know every player thought, oh my god, yes. And you go, oh, I should just go to sleep. It's like, no! So, yeah. But overall, I mean, I loved this game a lot. It was a game that, you know, sitting back and looking at it, like, oh man, those last two dungeons sucked. Really, for me, one dungeon was absolute shit, one dungeon was pretty mediocre, and the rest of them I didn't mind that much. And overall, while there are things I wish I would have managed better, like, you know, certain confidant ranks and my time and kindness and all of that, there's a lot in the game still that I loved, and just going gradually over time, day by day, with these characters, forged a bond with a fictional party that you don't get too often in other games. I feel like I've repeated this 1,000 times on 1,000 different podcasts, but there's a goal that this game sets out to accomplish, and I think it accomplishes it, and I think that's important when grading any game. And they do it unlike any JRPG out there. I will never play a game like this. There's no games like this. They just don't really exist. I mean, you could say, oh, visual novels, but it combines so many elements from other things that creates an experience that's part this, part that, part everything, that is so fulfilling, and fulfilling in ways beyond just gameplay elements, but also narratively, and also the relevance to one's life. You know, things that certain characters might feel here or there, or the way that certain characters are propelled through situations they have no control over, or situations that plague people we might know close in real life, and ways that this game could at times be a coping mechanism for its players. And there's a reason people latch on to Persona so heavily, and it's been like this since Persona 3. This isn't a Persona 5 exclusive boon. It handles things that other games kind of don't dare to delve into, and you get that immediately. We talked about it at length about Kamoshida's Palace and how this game immediately lets you know it's not fucking around when it comes to the themes that it's tackling. And there's a reason it tells you in the beginning of the game that this game is not based on real life events, because it touches on so many things that you might be able to just pin in the real world as, wow, that's really close to something that's happened here. It's because it happens to everybody, and it isn't just made up fantasy in a video game. So playing Persona 5, it's a special game for a lot of reasons, and a lot of things we talked about today and a lot of things I've mentioned on other shows are those special reasons. And while it's not a perfect game, I think there are things about the game I would change. You just mentioned some of them about Persona 5 Crimson. Overall, I'm glad I took the time out and actually beat a 100-hour game, because overall, at the end of it, walking out and shutting the door behind me, it's an experience I'm glad I had this gen, and it's a game that will be easily in my top 5 for the year, no doubt. It's cemented its spot. So that's my final thoughts on Persona 5.
All right, Abby, I don't know how much of that you heard.
I like Persona 5. I just never want to play it again because of like some of the palaces, but I
so for
enjoyed
Crimson, you would literally just want to be a female character and date Ryuji.
Or Mishima. I don't know
That's a good enough
I don't know
change.
which one
Or
I would
Mishima.
date, but one of the two.
All right. Well, Persona 5 Crimson will be a release title, not a release title. Will be released on Nintendo Switch 2019. With the addition of quality of life, no female character, and Ryuji is now a dog.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was really
cats and
funny,
dogs
but
and
I don't know what you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all right. You'll find out in a couple of days.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I might as well have not been here, to be honest. Oh.
Feels so bad.
Oh, did you just not hear any of what I just said? Cool.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We said I should never have really just been here. I should just not have been here.
Okay, I don't know what you said in response.
I shouldn't laugh. It's kind of funny, though. Not the situation, but...
I'm just glad this isn't the
response back
E3
and forth.
wrap-up episode, because if we had to do it more than once, I'd cry.
Ooh, yeah. It would make us hate E3. But yeah, this has been the Persona 5 Spoilercast. It is
We
almost
hope you
as long
haven't
as the
spoiled
actual
anything
game.
for you.
Yeah. If for some reason you've accidentally left this on in the background, like you fell asleep and all this is now in your brain and you're going to dream about it someday, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not our fault. You see the word spoiler in the title. Don't click it. Yo, there's the part in the full version of Life Will Change.
Okay, is that what that was?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that sounded for Ebby, and I kind of wish that I did. Because it sounded so weird. I just want to know what the Robo version of that sounded like.
It sounded so weird. There's a part in the full version of Life Will Change where like no, it's not Life Will Change. It's Get Up, Get Out There, the theme song or whatever. There's a part after where the theme song would usually cut off where she like just like scat in the background, and she's like, retarded, and she says that. I'm like, what the fuck? It's literally the word. And I'm like, why is that in there? Like, did that accidentally come out of her mouth? Like, it's such a weird lyric. Like, it's just on its own. Amongst a bunch of babble is the word retarded. It took me by surprise. Interesting.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure as always to do a spoiler-laden episode. Next video probably won't be till E3.
Yeah, look forward to us talking about E3. It'll be a recap. We already talked about our predictions. If you haven't caught that, if you jump straight into this, we talked about our predictions in episode 32, which is the video before this one. You could hear us talk about all the things we think are going to be at E3 at each individual press conference. And with that, look forward to our E3 recap, which will, I'm sure, be full of surprises. Maybe. Have a great day, everybody. Let us know what you thought of Persona. Comments are full reign for spoilers. Don't worry about holding anything back.
Spoilers for Persona, not anything.
Oh, yeah. Don't spoil anything else. Sorry, that's a weird way to keep saying that. Anyway, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.